Hi, my name is Missy. Today we're going to do some charms. I've had a couple people tell me how much they really enjoy it, and so I thought I would try something different. And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to base these. I mean, I guess they are going to. You could call them sun sign readings, but we are going to base them on rising sign if you know it. So obviously, if you don't know your rising sign, then you can go ahead and watch for your sun sign. But you know, it's just better if you know, and if you follow astrology, you know why. All right, so I have my Pandora going. I had to just get that set up. I guess we should probably leave that over there, huh? All right, so we're going to get to it. We're going to start with Aries or Aries rising. Give me a second. I thought I was situated, but I guess I was wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to read it the way that we would a astrology chart, or basically a transit chart. We're going to base it on rising signs, but obviously if you don't know what your rising sign is, you're going to want to watch for your sun sign. We're going to start with Aries. And for Aries, we have I Don't Give a Fuck by Dua Lipa playing in the background. I mean, obviously it's IDGAF if you don't know the song and you want to look it up. So if you're, I really hate doing these disclaimers. So you know what? And let me be honest. The reason that I hate doing these disclaimers is because you got to be polite, right? I'm trying to build a business here. And so I have to be polite, but let's be really, really honest. All right. Don't come and blame me for the issues that are going on in your life, right? Like, regardless of what happens in these readings, especially like if I give you advice and, whatever the case, don't come and blame me for what's going on in your life. Like, you're an adult. Okay. So that's number one. And then number two, if the details in this reading fit for you, then they're meant for you. But if they don't fit, don't sit around and like beating yourself up and getting all crazy, in your head, thinking about what happened in a reading. That's just going to do more harm than good. So, obviously, only take what resonates. So I'm going to leave that there. We're going to go ahead and let me explain the music. So if I call out a song or artist, again, that doesn't mean that every word of that song or the entire theme of that song is going to apply for your situation. It could just be the title. It could be the artist. It could be one lyric or the chorus. So that's all I'm going to say in terms of that kind of stuff for our reading. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Aries. We're going to pull some charms. I'm not sure if we're going to get runes or not. I'm kind of feeling it, kind of not. I don't know. We also have some other like Astro dice or I don't know. We might not get to those things. So we'll see. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and start with Aries. All right, interesting. So the first thing that I want to say is we have two of the charms. Well, actually, we have a rune and a charm that came outside of the ring. And so, and the one of them that came outside is the ring. So for Aries that are looking for a commitment, I would say at least a year before that happens, especially if it's, if your question has to do with like marriage. I don't know why I had trouble saying that. Marriage, a contract, something like that. It's going to be at least a year, probably more because it fell way out there. All right. And so actually, let's come over here. So we're going to start with the first house, which is the house that represents you, your body, right? Your personality, anything that's going to happen to you specifically is going to be seen in the first house. And you have the open heart key, or what I call the open heart key, because it has the feathers. It's like my key that brings solutions, but it came in the reverse for you. I feel like you're not going to find a solution to the problem. I'm sorry, you're just not going to find a solution to the problem that you're looking for, not this week at least. But you do have the present that fell on top of the fire element. And so that says your creativity is going to be a huge help for you. When it comes to like money, you're probably going to have to be really careful with your money. Also be careful of scammers because of the mask that's sitting here in the outer ring. But that's more like within a couple of weeks to a month, there could be some sort of scam. Just be very, very careful about that. Also, there's somebody around you could be hiding, or it could be you that's hiding money issues or something that has to do with money. But it could feel really chaotic in terms of your money. And so next we're going to look at your like communication, what's happening with communication. So this is where some good stuff is going to come in. But I think, so we have the letter, or excuse me, the wish. I thought it was going to be the letter, but when I turned it over, it's actually the wish. So you're not actually going to get your wish in terms of the communication. Like I feel like you have to reach out to someone because the palm fronds fell on top of the symbol for Mercury here in this house. So you have to be the one to communicate something to someone else. Possibly it's about something that you want, and you will get some results, but I don't think, because this is the $5 bill. And like I say, because the wish came out in the reverse, I don't think it's going to be exactly what you want. And just please ignore my nails. I've been playing with my nails recently, trying to do different stuff, trying to do them myself. And so they're kind of jacked up right now. Okay, so for your home and family situation, we have the love and be loved term that came out in the reverse. So there may be something happening around home and family where maybe you're not feeling recognized. That's kind of how that feels to me. Yeah. Like you're not feeling recognized. That's how that feels to me. And then we have the number 6 domino, which is a 4 and a 2. So the numbers 6, 24, and 42, also 2 and 4. So that's coming out over the house that has to do with like romance, fun, children, joy, creativity. So it is the number 6. You've got a lot of reversals in your read, like a lot of charms came out in the reverse, like upside down. And so I'm reading them as reversals. And so the 6 in reverse talks about like greed, or like so it can be, well, the 6 is like, there's a reason that the number 666 is attached to the devil, and it's because 6 is the number for Venus, and Venus is attached to things like lust and greed because she's attached to things like love and money. So when she's in her positive, or she's healthy, in her healthy aspect, it's abundance and values and things that are positive. But when it's in the negative or reversed aspect, it's saying there's some sort of lust or greed or something attached to this particular area of your life that has to do with like how you have fun. It could be your romantic life. It could be something attached to like your children. Like maybe you are indulging your children a little bit too much, and that needs to stop because you're spending too much money, right? That would be a good example of how that would play out in the 5th house for children. You do have the candelabra and the hourglass in the outer ring. And so that tells me that you will get like clarity and solutions, right? But it's going to take time. And for things like this, if they fall in the upright, like if the hourglass had fallen in the upright, that tells me that you would be running out of time, right? But it didn't. It fell on its side, which tells me right now time has stopped, or it's at a standstill, right? So then again, for the candelabra, like if it had fallen in the upright, obviously it's lighting the room, it's illuminating something. But if it comes, like this, there's a need for clarity, right? or clarity is it hasn't been established yet, because you still have to pick the candelabra up to put the candles in it and then light them. So just to explain to you how and why I read the charms the way that I do. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the house of like work and health and what you do with your time each day. And this is interesting because here's where you have the $100 bill in the reverse. This is the highest denomination of money that I have in my charm bucket. And so, and you have that coming out with the pizza, the footprints, and then a little teeny tiny piece of citrine that I have. It's a little chipstone that I have in there. Okay. So this talks about wasting your time, wasting your money. Like maybe you, like if you've got this $100 bill in the reverse, that tells me you're probably earning money in order to waste it. Like you have to have money coming in order for you to be able to waste that much money for it to be the $100 bill, right? So if this is you and you're wasting a lot of money, that's what it's talking about over here. And there's going to be like, there'll be this clarity coming within a month of like, oh, holy shit. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to laugh, but sometimes I just laugh in these readings. I can't help who I am, damn it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the 7th house, which has to do with like your relationships. This can also be partnerships, like if you're in business or, you know, anyone that you've made a promise to, that you have a responsibility to, is going to be found in this house. But this is also the house of like your open enemies, those people that you know are against you. Okay. And so that's just because, you know, each house has its positive and negative aspects. Okay. So we have the hot air balloon that came out in the reverse or upside down. So when the hot air balloon is in the upright, it talks about seeing things from a higher perspective, right? You're able to see things, you're able to see the full picture, right? But if it's upside down, well, the hot air balloon is obviously not in the air, which means you're not getting that really good view. So there's something else that you need to learn that is coming in this 7th house in terms of your relationships. So now with Scorpio, the house of like endings and, you know, death and other people's money, there's nothing happening there. So we don't really, well, actually, no, I'm wrong. I just noticed that you have the bundle of grapes that fell all the way out here. So within several months, probably at least 6 to 8 months, there's some sort of money or abundance coming in for you. Especially like if you have been waiting for money from somebody else, and that's part of the question that you have when you came here, it's going to be several months before that money comes in. Okay. And so for the house of your higher self, higher education, the law, right? Because some people have legal issues that they are asking about. You have the two things that came out, and they both came out upside down. Like I said, you have a lot of like reversals in this reading. So we have the number 7 domino. So the number 7 tells me it's like being on the right path, right? If it's in the reverse, it tells me that you're not on the right path. Now you also have the bat that came out in the reverse. So if a bat is in the upright and he's out flying around trying to find his way around, which is basically what the 9th house represents, right? You're trying to discover who you are, what you need, what you truly value, what you want in life, what do you want to be in life, that type of stuff, right? Like this is where higher education comes in. So of course, if you're going to go to school to have a career, that's going to be shown in this house, right? But there's something about this house that you are not using your instincts, because that's how bats are able to navigate their way around, is by making sound and then listening for the echo. It's their, you know, they learned how to do this. It's echolocation. It's a type of intuitive, instinctual thing that they do. This is how they navigate life. And so you're not doing that. So if you have any legal issues, anything that has to do with like your higher self, you are not paying attention to what's happening there, which is the reason that you're not truly on your right path. I think you're close, though. I think you're just not seeing what your path is also. So when we get to the house of like career and reputation, we don't really have anything happening here. But when we get to your house of like community and friends, we do have the number 9 domino and the charm that says made with love. So I have to be honest, I think there might be, it's either an accomplishment or some sort of ending with a friend. But it's not it's a positive ending, like it's not on bad terms. So take that however it resonates. And then when we get to your the house of your dreams and nightmares, right? This is your fears and those things that are in your blind spot. And so you have the term that says me versus me sitting in this particular house, which means you are your own worst enemy. This is also the house of like of enemies, of secret enemies, right? Or hidden enemies. These are secret enemies in Scorpio. These are the hidden enemies that you do not see. And so these are the ones that are your friend that are your friend to your face, but you don't know they're your enemies. This house here are the enemies that you know are your enemies. You know they're there to attack you. Okay, so just keep that in mind when it comes to the houses and when you hear people talk about your enemies and it comes to the houses of astrology. So you are your own worst enemy in this particular reading and in this particular house. So let's get to the very center. This is like general overall for the week for you, Aries. And so now we have the $10 bill in the reverse, which means there's going to be either some expenses or some losses for you this week that are going to have, they're going to be around like creative and fun issues, which, you can't make this shit up. We already talked about that in this Leo house. So I think, it's going to happen for you this week. And then probably by the end of the month, you're going to be like, oh shit, what did I do? So I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. All that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Taurus because I don't want this reading to be like forever. So let me get my wheel changed. All right. So now we have Taurus rising or Taurus. Well, let's do Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. It's hard to reveal to admit until I started to choose like this right there. Oh, okay. I didn't mean for it to all land in one spot, but that's just how it happened. All right. So, we have a lot of this kind of tangled up here. It's sort of in the center, but everything is all hitting just these 3 houses of your chart, which is this is basically going to be the 9th, 10th, and 11th houses. We do have a little bit happening in the 8th, 7th, 5th, and then 3rd and 4th houses. So let's look here first, just because we kind of have to. And then I feel like this is going to be the extra detail. Oh, and I forgot to put those away from the Aries reading. I apologize. All right. So first of all, let's start at the 9th house. So we have the $50 bill, and we have these different rulers, right? So the rulers came in the reverse. So these I like to use. So I love these type of rulers, right? Because this is I don't know exactly what kind of rulers they're called. For those who know me, I taught myself astrology. And so you get those books in the very beginning and it tells you, okay, you got to do this. You have to measure that. You've got to calculate the ascendant, then you calculate the houses, you look in your ephemeris, right? So these are the tools that I would use to create a chart when I taught myself astrology, right? You've got these, you've got the, I don't know what it's called, maybe a compass. It's got the little thing that sticks in the center with a pencil that goes and makes your circle. And then you use these things to make your houses, right? So anyway, it's about measuring equality, right? There's no equality. Like in this is what's happening in your subconscious. You feel as if there's no equality going on in something. Or you can't see equality, but you have this $50 bill that came out right on top of that, right? So I feel like there might be something that you're missing, that's something that's very important, something that's very abundant that you might be missing. And this is something subconscious for you. So, if for, every Taurus is going to be different. Take it however it resonates. Now, when it comes to your 10th house, which is the house of like career and reputation, right? You have the scissors here, and then you have this big bundle of junk that's kind of clogging up this area that has to do with the 11th house, and then the center, which is the general portion of the reading, like everything that's happening this week, or the overall energy, right? Which is all centered mainly in the 11th house. So there's something that you have to get rid of when it comes to your career. You will know exactly what that is. It could be that you have too many jobs, right? Like if you're working more than one job, you you definitely have to get rid of one of them, especially if your health is suffering, although you don't have anything in the house of health that would make me too concerned. But you're going to know how that resonates for your life. But then we get over here. I think whatever, like one of these jobs has somebody there that is a problem, because we have the birds that came out in the reverse. This is actually a pin that belonged to my mother. And so I have several charms and different things in my charm bucket that have special significance to me that I use for these readings, because that adds extra flavor to the reading. And so if this could be like, in terms of, this could be where there's something going on with your mother that causes you to have to cut out one of these jobs, right? If you have more than one job. But being in the reverse, it's like a lack of communication. And because, a mother is actually an authority figure, this is talking about lack of communication with an authority figure in one of these jobs, right? You have the candelabra, which obviously fell out on its side. So that means there's clarity needed. There, if it fell standing up, which is very rare, it means you already have clarity in that situation. And let me tell you, I have had certain charms fall, upright or on there. Like I had, I can't remember what it was, but it fell like right on its side like that the other day. Anyway, so they do fall in the upright like this, but to fall laying down, that means you need to pick it up and light the candles in order to light the room, which means that communication, that clarity is not there. You also have the scales of justice that came out in that cluster. So this is about unfair practices, right? Something that is unjust, because, again, it has a flat base on it. It could fall in the upright if it wanted to, but it didn't. It fell on its side. So it could be about justice, right? And I don't always read these. Like if it was just falling on its side, like by itself, I would think that there would be justice coming in. But because it's with all of this junk, I think that's saying there's something unfair, right? And then you have the last charm in that bundle is the eagle. And the eagle represents freedom. I mean, hello, we're in the United States. Like this is our bird, right? What does that say to you about what the eagle represents? So you need freedom from some situation within your community, because that's what the 11th house represents. This is your community, your social circle, the people that you network with when you're at work or in your career, or the people that live like in your community, as in the city, or even like the street that you live on, the neighborhood you live in, that kind of stuff, right? So there's something happening here where there's like no communication. It's like really difficult energy. And that's probably the reason that you need to cut this extra whatever it is out, that has to do with like career or reputation or something. Could have to do with your mother, but it does not have to. We have in the third house, we have actually, it's straddling both the third and fourth houses, and it's the number 1 domino. And so this is like independent energy, which just completely, again, like confirms all of this over here. We do have, in the 5th house, we have the pentacle or pentagram, the 5-pointed star, which is basically a symbol of protection. It's also wisdom and growth and like fertility, right? The number 5 is the number of change. And so change almost always brings growth, right? But there's something, it's in the 5th house. So I think like there's something like you're protected is what this is saying, or your creative ideas are protected. You don't have to worry about that. Especially if all of this energy has to do with a job, you don't have to worry about your creative ideas. They're protected. So in the 7th house, you have the seahorse. And so for me, seahorses represent like a father figure, really, because the seahorses, the male seahorses are the ones that take care of the babies. And so this is very gentle, emotional energy whenever the seahorse comes into play, right? So there could be, like, you know, if you're married, it could be that your husband is going to be very supportive of you. If you are dealing with someone, you know, that's like a contract or a promise or something like that, this is someone who has sort of like protective father energy going on. We do have the I love you charm that's like straddling both houses, although it's more in the 8th house than it is in the 7th house. So this could be again where like, you know, your husband or your father or somebody could be like helping you a little bit financially just simply because they love you. Oh, look, and then you have the double 6 domino that came out in the reverse. It's like the 12s or 2 6s. So 6s represent money. It could be like money that you just that you don't expect or that you didn't see coming, but it's out of love. Okay, so that one actually is from the Aries reading, so we're going to put that away. All right, so I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading here for you on the channel that does. I thank you for watching. Let's move on to Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have the song, this is actually for Taurus and Gemini. We have the song Take Me by Papa Roach playing in the background. All right, let me just mix really well. Hold on, I don't want me to fall yet. I want to get mixed first. All right. All right. Okay, so Gemini, for you specifically, there's not, it looks like everything is kind of scattered, first of all. It's like not one specific thing going on this week. Okay, so you have the hail rune in the reverse. You have the rune of protection. Actually, everything else is in the upright. Okay, and so, yeah, everything else is in the upright. Well, except for this shirt. All right. Interesting. So we have this hail here. Now, hail is like very destructive, right? You know, hail is that energy of like kind of like the tower. It talks about like disruption. It's also creative, like creative energy. And so this is actually kind of straddling both the 1st and 2nd houses, but it was in the reverse. I feel like it's something that you don't see coming, right? Something unexpected that may hit you kind of out of the blue, and it could hit you like financially, but you know, because it does have like the creative and transformative energy attached to it, which is what the tower is always about in the tarot. You know, it always says like, yeah, when the tower comes in, it it is destructive, and it tears the tower down, because it's a bolt of lightning that strikes the tower, right? It tears it down, it sets it on fire, it destroys the whole thing. But then when everybody comes back, like if you go into the after tarot, right, like the moment after, or the days or weeks after, you go in and you look at the rubble, and you're like, wow, if this lightning hadn't struck this tower, it would have fallen anyway, because there's this huge crack in the foundation. That's the energy of this particular rune as well. So yeah, it's bad at first, whatever this is, and it's probably going to hit you financially at first, right? Okay, interesting. And then we have Whispers in the Dark by Skillet playing in the background. And then we come over here to what is essentially the third and fourth houses. So this is communication around like home and family issues. So you had this shirt that came out, like in the upside down. And I feel like you're saying like, I can't help you anymore to somebody. Like, I can't, like, if it was in the upright, actually, no, I have to be honest. I have to be really honest. When it's in the upright, it looks like one of those cheesy Hawaiian shirts, like maybe you're going on vacation. But when it's in the reverse, I feel like it's saying, give the shirt off my back. But I feel like in this particular reading, you are saying, I can't give the shirt off my back. Or what do you want me to give the shirt off my back to? I'm sorry, that's just how it feels. I feel like you don't want to, anymore. I feel like that's part of this energy, to be honest with you. You do have protection coming into like the fifth house. And this particular rune, I always call it the wrong thing because I can never pronounce it correct. So give me 1 second. Algiz is the name of this rune, Algiz. So this is like self-defense, protection, and safety. Okay, interesting. Hold on. I feel like I feel like you're having to protect your decision of who you're dating with this protection, or with this protection rune right here, to be honest. Yeah, because you have Made with Love out here in the outer ring, and then you have the Star over here when it comes to like how you're spending your time each day, right? You do have this whirlwind, so you're very, very busy every single day. Like maybe you don't have a lot of time. Like maybe you either spend a lot of time on the phone or something, like you're always like you're there, or maybe it could be attached to this. Like it could be someone who's always in crisis, that has you always, like they're always reaching out, and maybe you have to cut them off, because this is the house of like service as well. And maybe cutting them off brings in some sort of recognition of the situation that you're in. But I also feel like, take it however it resonates, like you have to protect the person, like you're having to protect your decision of who you're with, because you also have the Star over here. And this particular star has like the whirlwind thing in the center. You see it? So all of this is attached in some way. You also have the song Let Me Down Slowly by Alec Benjamin playing in the background. So if you are a Gemini who has, because of all of this over here, because this star is huge and it's got the whirlwind in the center, okay, this could be someone who's in a marriage, okay, and maybe you've split up, or this is an ex, but this person continues to hit you up for help, like, oh my God, I've got this crisis, I've got that crisis, like, please help me, especially if it's around like money, because of all this over here, like, help me, like, you have to finally say, I can't help you anymore. I'm so sorry. And they're like, but you've got this bitch over here. I'm sorry, but that's just how I'm seeing it. Like this person, whoever this is, possibly the person that you are breaking up with is like, but you got your bitch over here that you can do things for. And you have to say, like, that's my business. What's it to you, basically? And I say that because you've got nothing over here in the 8th house, nothing in the 9th house. So there's no messages that have to do with like this. There's no, in other words, there's no problems there. There's nothing that needs to be called to your attention in these 2 houses, right? And then you've got the house when it comes to like reputation, right? This particular charm is the Virgo charm. So that's and even though, if you're looking at a Gemini rising chart that puts Scorpio in the 6th house, this 6th house in every chart, whether it's your natal chart, a transit chart, it doesn't matter. In every chart, the 6th house is always Virgo's house. So when it comes up here to, your reputation, and you've got Virgo sitting there, and then you've got the Maid with Love charm in the reverse twice, okay, because this one's coming out in the reverse. And then this particular charm, or excuse me, this particular rune here, which happens to be like strength and stability, right? It talks about like journeys too, like, but inner intuitive journeys, right? But this came out right here. And so I feel like, again, this is the reputation. So this person over here that always has the whirlwind person that you cut off, like somehow they may say something about you. I don't know. Take it however it resonates. And they're doing it because they want to make things hard on you. But you already know that that's what it is that's going on. You don't have anything happening in the house of friends, so I don't think your friends are going to buy it. And then in the 12th house, you've got the Gemini charm and the moon, which tells me, and by the way, the moon is exalted in Taurus, and for Gemini rising, Taurus happens to be your 12th house. So having the moon falling in Taurus specifically says like, use your intuition, because this is you, right? And the moon represents intuition, and it's exalted in Taurus, and it's in your 12th house because that's the house of what's hidden from you. So it's saying like, use your intuition, right? Whatever it is that they say, or they're going to try and say, or something like to hit you in your integrity. Like, I feel like it's saying, don't fall for it. Don't buy into it. Don't play into it is the most important message I can give you right now. Do not play into it. Yeah. Just because I just want to get some signs. So we're going to, and I'm going to do it the way that I would if I'm doing my chakra charm board. I'm just going to drop these 2 on top of the thing, and wherever they land, they land. If they knock something out of the way, well, just trust me, you'll see what I mean. Okay, interesting. You notice that it took these 2 runes out of the way that we're talking about unexpected expenses and money and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so, and then you have the sign of Pisces and the sign of Taurus that came in the way outer ring. So within several months to a year, there could be a solution, but like you could be dealing with a Pisces and a Taurus. So I feel like that's saying within several months to a year, there's a solution in terms of the money, or it even could be, I don't think this is happening within several months to a year, but I feel like the finality of it, especially if this is a divorce situation, the finality of it would be probably at least a year out. Okay, so I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you on the channel here that does. Let's go ahead and move on to Cancer. Okay, let me get these a good mix before we start choosing. feel like I need to close them right here. Okay. Interesting. The charm. Okay, you've got so in the very center of your reading, this is like the very first thing that's calling my attention. So this I can with the $20 bill. And so it's the way that it's falling. It feels like this is the general portion of your reading happening right here, which is where we're going to start. Okay. And so for this is hitting your house of money and communication. Okay. So there's something about money or your values also, because the second house, it's, if you're going to look at it in an esoteric fashion rather than, if you were looking at it exoterically or as in the material world, then it would be the material goods that you own, whether that's money, cars, home, or whatever that has value. But if you're looking at it like spiritually, or esoterically, then it's saying, what are your values, right? Your own personal values. So there's something happening around that and how you communicate in terms of that either your valuables, your actual material goods, your money, or your values. And we have a lot of money coming out here in these two houses, right? Two of these bills are in the upright, but they're the smaller bills. The larger bill is in the reverse, right? So if there's money coming in, there's more going out than what is coming in. So that's number one. That's an issue. We have, oh, interesting. Look, it is exactly 11:44 when I look at this, and we have the song Guys My Age by Hey Violet playing in the background. So if you're in a relationship, it could be that one partner is, acting very immature when it comes to money, and maybe you need to have a discussion about that. I don't know. You do have the moon here. So this could be something that is, it could get emotional, right? You do have the Christmas bells that came out upside down. So if it's in the upright, it's joyful. If it's in the reverse, it's, I'm pretty angry. I'm not happy. Definitely not happy. I think you're not happy that you have to have this conversation, but you do have to. And that's what this term here in the center is saying, like, you can do this. You can do this. Now, in the actual second house, you have the Isa or Isa rune. And so this is talking about like ice. Everything's at a standstill. So the money is at a standstill. Now, if this is not like, if this is not where one person is being immature and spending more money than what is coming in, then this is a situation where I have to be honest, that could be like a business, right? Where you're spending more is going out, or the expenses are more than what the profit is, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then in terms of if that is the case, if this is a business and the expenses are higher than the profits, I feel like you can absolutely turn that around. That's what this is saying right here. You can absolutely turn that around. So beyond that, so now that we know that that's like the general portion of your reading, right? Let's go to you in particular. This is you, because we have the lion here, and this particular lion is actually in mid-roar. You can see his mouth is open. Well, it won't focus, but he is a roaring lion, right? And so basically this is you speaking up about something, whether it's this or not, but I do think you do have to speak up, speak out. Like if it's a business, then you have to promote yourself. If this is an issue with somebody spending too much money, then you have to discuss the issue. We do have the whirlwind or hurricane coming in the fourth house. So, and then we do have the hail rune coming into the fourth house as well, but this is also the fourth and fifth houses. So again, If you were watching the Gemini reading, you would have heard me explain that this is typically like the Tower card in Tarot, where the lightning bolt comes out of nowhere and it strikes the Tower, causing it to fall and burn. But once you go in and check the rubble, you see that there was this huge crack in the foundation anyway, and so it's okay for things to crash and burn, basically. So if this is a relationship, I apologize, because this is not easy energy to deliver to somebody, that there might be a possible end to a relationship, or if you've just found out something, right, that is, that might possibly cause the end of a relationship. I apologize for that. But if this is a business, right? If this is a business, then, this is the foundation of the business, where maybe if you go in and you tweak some stuff, right? Having this conversation, doing whatever all of this stuff is, where it says you can absolutely revamp this business, there are things that you have to tweak in the foundation. We have the song, starts with Goodbye by Carrie Underwood playing in the background. So we have the angel wing that came in the outer ring. So you do have support and love, and also, like, angel wings represent messengers. So there's like a messenger or some sort of support coming in, maybe even from your, like, if so, this could be like a passed on loved one, but this is the fifth house, and the fifth house does, like, this is the house of children. So maybe your children will be a support to you in some way if you're older, or if this is like a business. And so when you have here in the sixth house, which is the house of work and service, how you spend your time each day. So this is like, if you have a job that you hate, but you have like something else that you would want to be your career, you would typically in a natal chart have placements in this house, but not over here, right? Not everybody. It's just some of the patterns that I've noticed in my practice. And so, a job that you hate can be shown here, but this can also be something that you hate about your job, and that's how I'm reading it. With, like, having planets placed there in a natal chart could represent something that you hated about your job, or something, about your job that, because this is also one of the houses of ill fortune. There are a few of them in the chart, the 6th, 8th, and 12th. But anyway, so if this is a business, because we have the bridge that came in the reverse, it took me a million words to get to this. You need to promote yourself. That's what this bridge is about. You have to bridge the gap between you and them, between you and the customers. How are you going to bridge this gap? You're not able to see at this moment how to bridge this gap between you and your customers. If this is a relationship, it's the same thing. You're not able to see in this moment how to bridge the gap to be able to heal this situation, because this house is also the house of health, your mental and emotional and physical health. So there's something going on there. I don't know why you're not able to see it. Maybe the other person isn't willing. I don't know. When you get to the house of relationships, we have what I would call the sun's coming up over the clouds, right? Like the end of confusion, but it came out like this. And so at this moment, there's not an end to the confusion. You have the dollar bill that came out upside down. So there are some losses. They're small. So maybe there are very small issues that are causing this confusion. You feel like you have the bird over here. So birds represent communication. And I don't always read this charm that way. Sometimes I read this charm as feeling trapped. And in this case, I feel like it's both, right? Because we have the army tank that came out in the reverse. The war is over. There's no reason to fight anymore. You can't use the tank. Why are you going to keep fighting? You're going to lose, right? Why keep fighting? That's what that energy is. But then you've got this communication that's trapped in this cage. It can't spread its wings. It can't fly. It can't, it can't be creative, because again, we've got this lizard that's in the reverse, right? If the lizard is in the upright, it's creative, fiery energy. Lizard lizard, if they lose their tail, they can grow another one. Like, hello. It's also spirit energy, right? Like in terms of God and your spirituality. So maybe you can't be creative with your spirituality, or you feel like your spirit is just trapped. And if you stay in it, like at least within a month, you really are going to feel that way because of this here. You know, you want to get out of this energy. And by the way, this dollar bill is straddling the house that has to do with like sex and endings. So there are some losses, but maybe there are some tiny sexual issues that could be seen as a circus that hits you some kind of way in your higher, like in your higher subconscious, where you're like, I don't really agree with that. I'm not really comfortable with that may be happening sexually. I'm just saying, I got to read it the way that it's coming up, because you're like ready to leave the circus when the circus comes out in the reverse like that. If it's in the upright, you're getting ready to enter the circus, but nope, this is you getting ready to, you're leaving that big top. You've already watched the show and you don't really enjoy it there. Okay. And interestingly, we have Nightmare by Halsey playing in the background. It's at the part, come on, little lady, give us a smile. No, I ain't got nothing to smile about. Got no one to smile for. I waited a while for a moment to say, I don't owe you a goddamn thing. So maybe there's something like, maybe somebody is pushy sexually, or there's some issue going on sexually here. You do need to talk about it. So this is coming out in the house of like career and reputation. And so when the letter comes in the upright, this is like messages coming in, right? I think, and you know, typically, you know, that doesn't, just because it's in the upright, it doesn't always have to be a positive message, right? It just says there is some sort of message coming, right? There's some news coming that has to do with like career. Over here in the house of like friendship and community and the people that you socialize with and network with, you have the rune of joy that came out upside down. So maybe you're not having as much fun with your friends and your community anymore. You do have the moon that came out, you know. I feel like because the way that it came out, it's like if I read cards, like you guys know I read cards. So if a card falls like this, I feel like it's neutral. If it comes out like this, it's, you know, got its full meaning or the positive meaning. And if it comes out like this, then it has a whole different meaning, right? So this moon came out in what I would call the neutral position. So I feel like, I don't know, there's some news coming in around your career, because this did come out kind of like, you know, a little bit in both. And like maybe your friends don't give you the kind of congratulations that I feel like that whatever this is deserves, to be honest with you. I feel like it's sort of ho-hum, and that hurts your feelings. I just have to be honest. And then you have the rune of movement, Rado, in the house of like what's hidden from you. But it was sitting right here over the, actually, no, it wasn't. But it is in the air element. I feel like either way, I feel like you're thinking of moving on. Funny enough, this particular rune, I've had this come out when it talks about like cars as well, because it is a rune of like movement, travel, right? So there could be something with your car. You may have to travel, or you may be traveling this week. I still have to go with my first instinct though was like you're thinking about moving on from a friend circle. I don't know. I just have to say it the way I feel it. I feel like because of the way they react, there's something about the way that they react that you feel like you need to move on from there. All right. And we have the song Rise Up by Imagine Dragons playing in the background. All right. So let's move on to I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stay tuned. There may be another reading for you on the channel that does. Let me go ahead and mix these up and we're going to move on to Leo. Man, this is the reason that I'm trying to do my nails. I just broke it some more. You see that? Like, oh my God, they hurt so bad too. I need to leave them alone and I just can't stop messing with them. All right. My dominoes are falling apart. Okay. Wow. So the only really thing that Leo has in the center is this mountain. And so because that is kind of connected to all of this right here in these three houses, we're going to focus here as your general portion. But I do feel like this has a huge, it's going to have a huge impact as well. And I just noticed something. I did not do this on purpose. But this is actually a burnt match stick. I use matches when I light my candles. And I light my candles when I do these readings. And apparently somehow a piece of burnt match stick ended up getting into my charm bucket. And you know what I'm going to do? I am going to leave it just because I don't ever take anything for granted. And it's like the perfect size to represent like serious, like fire. There's something fiery that's like burning bright. But this is in the sixth house. So let me get over here first. Even though that did catch my attention, I do really feel strongly that this is where I have to start before I even talk about what that energy is, because I feel like this is very, very positive, but just give me a second here. Okay. So we have this mountain. And mountains talk about like challenges. You have to climb a mountain and it is a challenge. So this is an obstacle. There's some sort of struggle happening for Leo. But if you noticed, the majority of this mountain was kind of sitting here in the third and fourth houses. Okay. So the concentration of energy is in the money, communication, and home and family houses. So that's where most of the energy is happening for Leo. Now, it's not going to be the same for everybody. I have to turn a couple of these over to see, what this one is. But based on this energy right here so far, I'm going to say there's something positive happening, but I have a feeling that you may not see it as positive immediately. You may see it as a hurdle or an obstacle or something that's actually a hindrance, right? I don't think it is, to be honest with you. I really honestly don't think it is, just based on everything. Like, you've got this particular rune right here is a rune that talks about like, it's God's breath, right? Answers from God. Well, it's coming out neutral. So it's not good or bad necessarily, but anytime you receive an answer, to your prayer, like that's what you pray for, isn't it? Right? Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, look, you've got I love you, and it came out in the reverse, which means you're not seeing the love. So, but why? That came out on top of I can. So I feel like there's somebody in your home, family circle who's really trying to encourage you to do something that's attached to this struggle here that you think is a hindrance or something, but it's not. It's just an obstacle. It's just going to take a little bit of work. This is what I call my crown scepter, because I always feel like it's, or excuse me, my scepter quartz. I don't know why I called it a crown scepter, but that may, apply in some way. Leos do think that they are royalty. Every Leo I've ever met thinks that they're royalty, but this particular piece of clear crystal quartz, it's a quartz point actually. It just gives me this feeling of, it's not a scepter quartz, that's a particular formation, but it just gives me the feeling of like a scepter, like what a queen or a king, like that's the energy that this particular piece of quartz carries. And that's the reason that I put it in my charm bucket. So it's my I call it a scepter quartz, even though it is not actually a scepter quartz. Okay. And so having that on top of this dollar bill that was in the reverse, this tells me you may see, because there's going to be some sort of losses, like you may have to give some things up, and that might be the reason that you see this mountain as like a hindrance rather than just an obstacle to be overcome, right? And though there is a huge difference between the two. A hindrance is something that is actively trying to stop you. A mountain is just something that just happened to be in your way when you were on your path, right? And so you can climb a mountain. That if there's not always a guarantee that you can overcome a hindrance, right? And so I think this is all, basically very positive. We do have the camel between the third and fourth houses. So I think, even though you're getting this encouragement from your people, I feel like they're also giving you some sort of wisdom about being prepared for what's to come. Like maybe there might be a little bit of struggle, and they're trying to help you out with that. We do have the 6 domino, and it's just the 6. So, the number 6 is like Venusian energy. So maybe the struggle could be like financial in nature. So you could be getting some sort of financial advice or something from family. And that could be the reason that this is coming out in the neutral position, right? Like maybe whatever this advice is, you start getting some sort of response or some sort of answers or some things. I feel like this is a response, right? Because when you pray, and this is the rune that says God's breath, right? That's a response to your prayer. So I feel like this is a response coming in to something creative that you did, which is confirmed not just by this sitting by the way, hold on, it's confirmed by the music too, because now we have Dance Monkey by Tones and I playing in the background. And interesting. So 1204 is actually it's a special number for me, and the only reason that I'm even explaining this to you guys is because boom, it caught my attention. I was like, damn. Because the way that it's just, I'm doing a reading and it's a special, and I'm not saying this is a special message for me. What I'm saying is all of this energy here could be attached to why that particular number is a special number for me specifically. And that's because 1204 happens to be the exact time of my daughter's birth. She was born at 12:04 p.m. And so, it could, like, literally you could start getting some response to something that you're doing creatively that could feel like your birthday is what I'm getting at. Or maybe, it could be a response that you're looking for from one of your children, because that's 5th house energy, right? And so again, like I say, that's the time of my daughter's birth. So it could be one of your children that you hear from within a month, maybe. But then we have the lion on top of this guitar with that match. We have the bloodstone. And so this particular, well, we're going to get to the bloodstone in a second. But we also have the rune of day, or it's Dagaz, Dagaz. And so it's like daylight. It's when the sun comes out, right? There's clarity, revelation, enlightenment, right? Hope. It's all positive energy. And so, this did come out in the reverse. So maybe you don't see the hope as of yet. Like right now, this week, you're not feeling very hopeful about whatever this creative endeavor is, but I think it's going to catch fire, because hello, I didn't know that little fucking piece of match landed in my charm bucket. And I do have little teeny tiny paper money in there. Thank God nothing caught fire in my charm bucket, right? But I feel like whatever this creative thing that you're doing is will probably catch fire. you know, because of that, because of this, right? You just don't see it yet. Now, bloodstone, this is a message of healing your body. This is the house of healing, okay? This is the house of your health. Bloodstone has to do with like blood issues, toxins, okay? And this particular bloodstone happens to be the gray and black African bloodstone, okay? And so this one is more specifically about getting rid of toxins in your blood. All right. So that might be something that's very important to you. Like, I don't know if you're eating foods that you shouldn't, if you're, you know, taking substances that you shouldn't, or if you're just not feeling well and need to go to the doctor and take care of yourself. That's what this particular crystal is talking about. Okay. And so next we're going to move to the seventh house, which I have to be honest, there isn't really a whole lot in the seventh house, although the guitar and the rune of hail are kind of straddling both. So this could be like maybe a sudden partner collaboration, maybe even a job offer or contract that is related to a job offer, because the rune of hail is like the tower card. And this is the house of other people's money, right? And the tower is like sudden, unexpected energy that comes just out of the blue, like a lightning strike. We saw this with the fire over here. So I'm taking this energy as a lightning strike, like maybe, and then you've got the mushroom, which is, it brings in like fantasy dreams, right? And you've got Gemini, which is the twins. So it very well could be with all of this energy that there's like a job offer to like partner up with someone, that maybe there could be a contract involved. I don't know. Interesting. It could also be love for some people, because we have Mama's Song playing in the background by Carrie Underwood. And we are talking about the seventh, eighth, and eighth houses, right? And twins with Gemini. So you don't have anything going on in subconsciously, but in terms of like career, here you've got the rose that came out upside down. And so, you know, this is also like your reputation. So because it came in the reverse, like, you may not have the best reputation. I'm so sorry. It could be too that like, you're not seeing the love, right? But this is like a message of love, right? You give roses, especially roses in full bloom, to say that you love someone, whether that's romantic or friendship or whatever. That's what roses represent, is some type of love. So maybe it could be, maybe you have a bad reputation in love. I don't know. Especially with the song playing in the background, because she's talking about he is good, so good. He makes promises he keeps. He ain't ever gonna leave. Don't you worry about me. And so this is talking like bad reputation in love. So take that however it resonates. I hope it does. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you on the channel here that does. We're gonna go ahead. I'm actually going to pause for a second because my dad is just getting home and I don't really like people around when I'm doing these readings. And I got to let him walk through into the other room real quick. And I'm probably going to do a quick edit here. Okay, I am back with Virgo. God, I hope I changed that before I guess we're going to find out. Okay. So we have the song Halloweeny by Ashniko playing in the background. It's been actually calling my name. I know I just didn't edit because I was talking to my dad, but like as soon as because he walked in, I think right as I switched this to Virgo, and then as soon as I switched it to Virgo, this song came on and I was like, oh, because it just caught my attention immediately. And that's usually when I call the songs out, if they catch my attention immediately. So anyway. Oh, yeah. So there's like money falling out all over the side, but I'm not going to keep it only because I'm just trying to mix the charms right now. I'm not trying to actually choose any because I haven't mixed them up since the Leo reading, and we want a fresh reading. But like I say all the time, I don't take anything for granted. There could be some abundance coming into Virgo. And you just get these really mixed up. Okay. So interesting. You don't have anything in the very center. And I don't feel like anything is particularly clumped up for you either. What I am feeling, though, is that the majority of what's going on with you has to do with other people, number one, because of where everything fell in the chart. Right? This would be like if all of your planets were placed over here in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th houses, even though the 9th house does represent your higher self, your subconscious, this is also higher education or, like going away to school, going to college, right? So, also, and the law and bureaucracies, institutions, churches, and then this could be your career and reputation. So this is all outer, you're dealing with other people a lot, or other people are going to have a lot of an influence on what's happening for you this week, Virgo. But I don't think anything's going to happen to you specifically. You don't have to worry about your money. Now, when it comes to your communication, right? There could be an issue of communication with your family. It's saying have faith. Like if you're, worried about your family, if you haven't spoken to them or something like that, just have faith. We do have here in the 4th house, you have the slice of pizza, and that's coming out over the fire element. So there could be some sort of like celebration or party or something happening around the home this week, maybe a birthday or something like that. We do have this, we have the gun, and then we have, and excuse me, my dominoes are falling apart because there were, I should have bought I didn't buy the right ones, but anyway, so this is the number 6 domino. So the numbers 5, 1, 15, 51, and 6 are going to be important when it comes to like work and health. But with this gun here, so guns are all about like taking a shot, right? It can be your last shot. You could have many shots if the barrel is full, because this is a revolver. So there's only 6 shots total in this one. But it could talk about like taking your shot, taking aim, trying something, giving it a shot, or it could be your last shot. Now this could have to do with like your children, healing issues with your children. It could also be something about work and money because of the number 6 here. It could be like birthdays, like, maybe that's what all of this is. There's a lot of birthdays going on for you this week as well. But this here, I feel like this is saying, take a chance. I'm not sure exactly. It could be like a last shot at healing as well. All right. So then we have, the house of your partners or other people. So this could be like your marriage partners, people that you partner with for work, anyone that you have a responsibility to, or that you've made a promise to. Oh, excuse me. Heady on. So we have the sun and moon charm. So this is definitely about a partnership that's like breaking up, because this did come out in the reverse. And then we have the Leo charm. And so you could be dealing with a Leo. You could be like breaking up, like maybe your person was a Leo and you need to break up from them just because of this. This came out in the reverse. Like if it's in the relationship house. Like I just can't read it any other way. There's no way to read it any other way, because the sun and moon in a relationship, that's the masculine and feminine. That's, both halves, 2 halves of the whole. So in the reverse, like it's no longer happy, at least. Maybe one person needs too much attention because of this Leo charm. Like, that's people give Leo a hard time about how, they've got to be the center of attention all the time. But they do tend to attract a lot of attention, and they do tend to demand a lot of attention as well. We do have the song My Wish by Rascal Flatts playing in the background. I forgot to mention this particular rune, which is the rune of harvest, that's coming out in the 6th house, which is the house of work. So remember when I was saying about like take a shot, the number 6 is the number for Venus, which is the planet that rules like money, love as well, but money. And so this is the harvest rune. So you could be harvesting within a couple of months. There could be money. You could be harvesting some money from your work. And then in this house, you'd have within a couple of months, there's like a wish coming in terms of your partnerships or this relationship that is no longer happy. So here in the 8th house, which is the house that deals with joint resources, so that's going to be like other people's money, not just yours, or money that you share with other people. This is also like the house of endings, death, sex, inheritance. And so when I say inheritance, it's not just money that you inherit here. This can be like the DNA that you inherit, the traits that you inherit. And so you have, and also I'm explaining that because of this particular charm that just came out. This is also the house of mediums and mediumship, because it deals with death. And so you have this specific charm that says, I will hold you in my heart until I hold you in heaven. So this is a special message to you from a passed on loved one that you do not see. By the way, it came out in the reverse, which tells me you've been getting this message repeatedly. It's on repeat and you are ignoring it in some way, shape, or form. You could be dealing with a Libra because of this particular charm, but the Libra energy is energy of like justice and balance. And then, oh, interesting, you have the mountain and the footsteps. I feel like this particular message that's coming in from a passed on loved one to Virgo specifically, okay, is that they have your back as you climb this mountain. Do not worry about it. They will hold you until you see each other again. That is specifically because this mountain came out on top of this. They are helping you climb this mountain, okay? And you're going to see the proof of that within a month, by the way. So for your higher self, there's probably some sort of greed going on, and you know it, and you need to curb that appetite. I'm so sorry. I typically read the dragon as something positive, but not in this house. Not when it's in your subconscious. This is dragons are energy of like Pluto, right? Which is energy of gold and jewels and all those things that you find once you dig deep into the earth. All that stuff that denotes wealth and power, right? And so if this is sitting in your subconscious, that tells me there's greed in your subconscious. You want power in some way, and you need to deal with that. Also, you have in the house of reputation and career. This could be coming into play here. And not in a good way, because this question mark is in the reverse. There's some question about your integrity, and your reputation is being called into question with this particular charm. And then you've got this leaf here. So this tells me you need to turn over a new leaf, or people are questioning whether or not you've actually changed when it comes to something. Okay. Also, when you have in this house of your community, this is going to be the people that you socialize with. We have Last Resort by Papa Roach. It's the remix, Papa Roach and Jairus Johnson playing in the background. So with your community being the people that you either socialize with, network with, your friend or your family, your friends, not your family. And then the people in your community, you're looking for answers there, and they're not forthcoming from those people. they're just not forthcoming. That came out in the reverse. And you've got a piece of fool's gold. Like, you're going to realize that the answers are not there within a month because of this pyrite. Although pyrite is a stone of abundance, it's also fool's gold. Okay. And then you have this star that came way out in the distance. So like within a year, I think, is when you're going to finally get your wish when it comes to community. It's going to be at least a year, I would say. And then for your 12th house, you have this piece of bloodstone. So within a month, I would say start going to the doctor, basically. This talks about this particular piece of bloodstone, talks about like blood issues, blood disorders. Now, it is sitting in the 12th house, which is like the house of hidden enemies. So there could be, or excuse me, the 12th house here for you, which is the house of hidden enemies. So it could be like blood relations that are your hidden enemies, because this is bloodstone. And you may get proof of that within a month. But other than that, I would say, like, if like I would start taking care of yourself now. Like within a month, you might feel better maybe with this stone. You have the arrow straddling both the 12th house and the first house. So you will also learn that you are on point, that you are on target, whatever, something that you did, a hope or a dream, something that you put into play, you're on point with that. Or maybe that's like something intuitively that you're picking up on, you're on point. And finally, we have, so this is the money rune that is coming out. It's out here in your outer ring. I would say this would be about 3 to 6 months in this area. This was in the reverse, so like it is coming in, right? But it's in the reverse, so it could be like expenses coming in. But I actually really feel like this is money coming in. And we have the song Panic Attacks in Paradise by Ashniko playing in the background. So, okay, so interesting. I feel like this is saying, especially with all of this, like you've got this support, all of this stuff that talks about like there is some healing or harvest over here, or the possibility of it. It's like your last, it's like not really your last chance, but you might as well take a shot, right? So then you have this money or material wealth rune. I feel like it's material wealth that's coming in though. And I feel like you're just not seeing it, to be honest with you. I don't feel like it's an expense. It just feels like it's energy coming in. Okay. So, I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. And we're going to go ahead and move on to Libra. Okay, I apologize for that quick delay. I had a message come in. It's interesting. I'm having a lot of like interruptions with these readings. So just take it however it resonates. There could be interruptions happening in your life. There may actually be another one coming too, because my dad's coming back with coffee. So I might have to edit this video 3 times. Hoping I wasn't going to have to edit it all. It's recorded all the way through. I could watch and see what the timestamps are. That just mixed. The best laid plans, though, right? Like they don't always work the way you think they're going to. What are we on? We're on Libra. I don't know. None of these feel right yet. Hold on. Right here. All right. Okay. Interesting. So I'm actually kind of drawn here and here. Give me a second to work out which one I want to start with. Yeah, my eyes, even though like I feel pulled over here, my eyes don't want to leave this particular $10 bill. So, and this is in the upright. So this is like abundance or something good coming in. Now, when I say abundance, it doesn't, and just because it's a $10 bill doesn't mean it has to be money for everybody, right? For some people, it could be that there's money coming in for you. But hold on one second. I have another 1 second. Oh, I think, okay, see, okay, I think my dad's accidentally butt dialing me. He's out getting coffee and he keeps sending me text messages. I'm going to have to ignore him now. See, here's the thing. Okay, all right. Oh, interesting. So and I don't know if this is for Libra, or maybe there could be somebody who maybe saw where I was interrupted in one of the other readings. I don't want to say which sign it was, just in case there are people that are only watching for their sign. I don't want to make you feel like you have to go and watch the other sign. But this happened with another sign where my dad actually came in and interrupted me. I had to pause the video, which there's going to be an edit there that you'll see. Um, and he was asking me if I had received his message, and I told him no, because I was filming, and that when I'm filming, that I was filming at the moment. But what I did not tell him is that when I'm filming, I don't look at my messages. But because he had sent me a message that I should have looked at, it would have saved him a trip of having to come home, because he was going to go and get us coffee, right? So I'm now feeling like I need to look at his messages to make sure that there's not another miscommunication. So there could be something happening for Libra this week that has to do with a miscommunication. Keep that in mind. I also want to, excuse me, I apologize for coughing. We have the song A Little Bit Stronger by Sarah Evans playing. Okay. So now back to what we're seeing here. So the money, or the money being in the upright, like this could be, an abundance of like communication. And I say that because you're here. This is the first house. So this is your money, which is the second house. And this is your communication. This can also be like your peers, because it is the third house. When I say peers, I mean like siblings or people that, are the same age as you. Like if you, I think my channel is for 18 and over anyway. I'm pretty sure I say that all my videos are meant for 18 and over. I don't know, but I don't think anybody from high school is watching me. But like if you're in high school, these are the people that you go to school with, right? That are also found here in the third house, the people in your community, the people that you that live on your street right now. They can also be found in the 11th house, but these people are going to be the people that you communicate with on a regular basis, right? How do you communicate? And so having that 10 in the upright, there's something positive coming in here for Libra. We do have the never, never give up charm that came out in the reverse, but that's sitting in the fourth house, right? So that's home and family in the fourth house. It came out in the reverse. I think you already gave up. I don't know. I think you already gave up on something. I think you already gave up. I'm not going to lie. In the second house, you have the Once Upon a Time book with the gun and the horse. And then you have this crown here in the outer ring. And this crown is straddling the third house as well as the second house. Okay. So the crown was in the reverse. Is this where you gave up over here? Like, I don't know, the crown being in the reverse, it's like you're not taking a leadership role. You're not, you're giving up your leadership role, something like within a month. I don't know. But then you have over here, and I don't like in your money house. So the gun, first of all, the gun can represent like taking a shot, having a shot, or your last shot, because you can have one bullet left. You can have multiple shots because there's 6 bullets in the chamber of this revolver. Taking aim is another meaning of the gun. Something explosive, because, gunpowder. It can also be lethal and dangerous. All right. Um, I'm not really reading it as like anything lethal, although I guess if you do, that would be like the first impression, or not really. I'm not really looking at it as something dangerous, although that might be the first impression when you see this gun. And this is coming out in the second house, which is the house of money. And you have this here with this book, once upon a time. And so once upon a time is always the first sentence of a story, right? What is the story? Is the story dangerous? Are you feeling like you need freedom from the story because it's dangerous? Are you afraid to create your story? Or are you afraid to write it, to sell it? Because this is the second house. Is it dangerous because the second house is also the house of values, not just valuables? Like valuables would be your money, but your values. Are you afraid to actually be free and completely 1000% honest about what it is that you value? Or do you need freedom from something that has to do with your story? I don't know. Why is the crown being in the reverse? That kind of concerns me, because that tells me you're letting go of leadership. That doesn't have to be a bad thing, but you have this this gun here. I have to be honest. A gun can represent like it could be your last shot, right? So maybe there is danger to let go of leadership, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there's also freedom. You have to take this however it resonates for you. And remember, as I was saying, the gun looks dangerous at first, but I don't always read the gun as dangerous. So maybe you've done the thinking, and by the time you get to the month's end or something, you're like, maybe even though it looks dangerous to give up leadership, it's actually beneficial. I don't know. You have to decide, because you do have this positive communication coming in here in the third house. Something that you gave up on here in your home and family. Excuse me for a second while I cough. With the house that rules like children and fun, you have the dinosaur here, which just so perfectly plays for the house of children, because that makes me think of dinosaur toys, right? But also long term, something ancient, something ancestral, because dinosaurs are from like millions of years ago. So, something secure, stable. This particular dinosaur is a vegetarian. So, he might be dangerous to small people in his path, but I don't think he's going to like attack. I don't know. I'm just guessing. He doesn't look dangerous to me, and he doesn't feel dangerous. I have the idea of like toys when I see this. And then you have the moon and stars. Are you not getting any sleep over something with your kids? Because this particular moon, because of the way it has these swirly curly cues in it, I see it as a sort of happy heart, right? Because it reminds me of like flowers and leaves. It sort of has like a vibrant sort of floral kind of feel to it when I look at it. So it makes me feel happy when I see it. Right. So if this happy heart comes upside down, there's something you're worried about. And I apologize for yet another interruption, but here's my dad with the coffee. So give me a second. Okay, we're back. And we immediately have, ooh, I just saw my reflection of that in the camera. That looked scary for a second. It made my eyes glow white. It made me almost look like a ghost. Anyway, which is funny too, because the name of this song is Walk Away from the Sun by Seether. And it literally, as soon as it started playing, like it made me feel like my eyes like popped out of my head a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why. It just caught my attention the way, because if you listen to the song, when he starts in with the song, and I don't even have my earbuds up real loud, but it's him singing, it just surprised me. And so you know how it makes you jump? So there might be a message there as well, like maybe that, because I remember speaking of this before we were interrupted with my dad. He's so nice. Like every morning, my dad makes me breakfast, and then he went and got me coffee today. Anyway, mm. Ooh, okay. So I feel like this might be attached to this, because remember here where we were saying, and what I'm saying, the song, basically Walk Away from the Sun, and how it surprised me. I don't know if the lyrics to the song are going to apply to everyone, but I just kind of feel like there might be a surprise that, like, again, that it's something about that. I don't know. Anyway, so we're here at the 6th house, right? We already spoke of the 5th house. We have the present that came out in the reverse, and that came out on top of the water element in the 6th house. So you're not feeling happy, like on a day-to-day basis. Like either this is in a job that you're doing right now, you're not happy with it, or you know, something where you're spending your time each day. There's something about that you don't, it's not such a gift anymore, right? You know, there's something about it that's and you're not surprised either anymore. Oh, interesting, because I was just talking about being surprised too, how that song surprised me. Well, I was surprised when the song started, but anyway, so here in the 7th house, this is where my attention was drawn immediately at the start of the reading. And the reason is we have 2 birds there. One is a chicken, one is obviously a songbird, right? So this particular pin has special meaning for me. It belonged to my mother. It was one of her, she had a lot of things that she collected, and she had a lot of tiny little pewter items. I didn't put all of them in my charm bucket because a lot of them are too big for it, but this one was okay, where I knew I could, I could put it in there. So there is, there's communication, but also the communication that's attached may have, like, it could be that your mother is giving you some advice that's really on point, because maybe you're afraid of something. I don't know, like there's something about, chickens. The chickens are food, but they're, you can't avoid that, especially in the house of others, right? There is this sense of fear, right? And because there's communication attached to both. Anytime you see birds in a reading, there's communication attached to both. And the special meaning that I always attach to this charm when it falls, that's the reason I put it in the bucket in the first place, was to denote a special message from your mother. I think you're being afraid of something, or there's something about that, like it's doubled down on this communication. Like, are you afraid to communicate the real you over here, right? Because remember, all of this is kind of tying in together as well. We also have, interesting, Give Me 3 Steps by Leonard Skinner playing in the background. Very interesting that one's coming through. And I'm only saying that because, like, I'm just not sure how even as the reader, and I know this song, I'm not sure how I would apply that to this reading so far, but you may know. So that's very interesting. We don't have anything happening in the 8th, 9th, or 10th houses or 11th or 12th houses. We do in the outer, in the month, but not in this week. So let's look at your career and reputation, right? Okay, so you have the ox, basically, Uruz, Uruz is how you spell this particular rune. And so it's a rune of like strength. And so like maybe your integrity is your strength, but it's coming out in the reverse. So you don't feel strong. Like maybe you feel weak. Oh, okay. Hold on. It just hit me. It's a rune of strength, but it's in the reverse. So weakness is actually going to come into play here. It's weakness. Maybe do you have a reputation for being weak? Is that something you need to overcome? Or maybe you do, maybe you're learning that you have a reputation for being weak, or you're being seen as weak in some way. And that's probably the reason that you have to, or you decide to step down from leadership. I don't know. But then we have Sagittarius in the outer ring. So within a month that you could be, and this is in the community, so that you could connect with the Sagittarius within a month. And then over here within, or actually, no, I'm so wrong. This is in your community. This is in your community, not your career. I'm so wrong. So hold on. I apologize. That's the wrong house. Now, I don't take anything back in a reading ever. Even though I did read it as the wrong house, I don't. But in your community, I'm going to say your strength is weakness in your community. But I don't think it's actually weakness. Let me completely explain to you. This particular rune, when it's in this position, says your strength, it's the ox, right? This is talking about the strength that you possess. Now, I'm only reading it like because it's upside down. I'm reading it the way that I read it because that's how I read the runes. Okay, so even though it's upside down, either you're not seeing your strength, or it weakens the strength automatically. That's how I read these. Okay, but then when I turned it over, it was in the upright. Okay, which means this is still your strength. So that's the reason that I'm going to say in your community, your strength is weakness, vulnerability, especially if it ties in with all of this over here about, are you going to write this book? Are you going to write this story? Are you going to XYZ, right? Are you going to sell whatever, XYZ? You might get some very good advice from your mother who calls you out for being a chicken, right? Are you just scared to be vulnerable? Or a mother figure who's just basically saying, are you afraid? Could even be a Sagittarius, although this is now your 12th house. This is falling in your first house. So the music falling in your first house talks about your creativity. Your creativity is going to be important within a month. So having Sagittarius energy in the 12th house for you talks about taking aim, because we have the arrow, but it's also being on point, being on target, being on path. Sagittarius is very adventurous energy. Sagittarius loves to like explore new lands and meet new people. You know, because they have this love of exploration and the new, that's the reason that it rules the 9th house and higher education and things like that, right? Foreigners, foreign lands, foreign languages, anything that is foreign to you. And so that's sitting in, what is it that you don't see? And And this is in the house of things that are hidden from you, right? Like if you don't see it, it's because it's in your blind spot. So maybe, maybe you need to take a deep dive within, and like maybe you need to embrace your inner Sagittarius and start to learn about other cultures or something. But it could be that other cultures will become important in some way within a month. Could be a Sagittarius, but I don't know. It's this house right here, the house of like hopes and dreams is what this is, right? Hopes and dreams can also be your nightmares, or so like hopes and fears, basically. So maybe you fear other cultures, and so you need to embrace them, or your hope is to embrace other cultures and they're coming in, or your hope is to embrace the new and it's coming in. Or it could even be travel coming in, because this is the ninth house. And so when you talk about travel with the ninth house, or excuse me, this is Sagittarius, which is the ninth house. It's the 12th house here. So it's Sagittarius, ninth house energy sitting within the energy of what you don't see, what's in your blind spot. So it could be some travel is going to be happening for you as well within a month. But that would be like long distance travel where, you're talking, either overseas, to another country, to another state, something like that, someplace that's foreign to you, because this rules foreigners and things foreign. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. And let's go ahead and move on to Scorpio. Oh, and by the way, for Libra, we have back to life. God, no, dude. Where they're going back in the chorus, like it's like the most exciting part of the song is like, just as I was closing out your reading, but talking about the travel, and Back to Life by Soul to Soul is playing in the background. Like I know as a reader that's the part that's important for this reading, because it was just so loud as I was talking about the travel and trying to close out the reading. It was hitting me that way, where it's just kind of screaming in my head. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Scorpio. Let me give it a good minute. Well, I really get in there and get them all mixed up. Oh, and I accidentally dropped an axe. Okay, so interesting. The axe wanted to come out. It fell off the table. Thank God it didn't fall on the floor. I actually see that as very bad if it falls on the floor. But the fact that it came out, it wanted to come out, and it was coming out in this direction here, but then it fell off the table. Okay. Interesting. So this, oh, okay. Hold up. We have the song, Hey, Hey, What Can I Do by Led Zeppelin playing in the background. Okay. And the first sentence of that song that was saying, let me tell you about the girl I love. And I was just getting ready to say that this was falling in like the fifth house energy, like area right here when it jumped off the table. And so I feel like there was this, I was going to cut somebody out of my life, because that's what the axe is. I'm going to axe them out, chop it off, chop off the offending limbs so that I can heal. Right. And then boom, all of a sudden that idea just jumped right off the table. Why? So that obviously is the general portion of Scorpio's reading. And he's talking about, let me tell you about the girl I love, blah, blah, blah. And like, basically I know this song very well. Like I cut my teeth on this music, let's say, because this was my dad's wheelhouse, right? God, my dad used to quiz me on music in the car. As a kid, like we lived about 45 minutes away from my school. And so really early every morning, I would have to get in the car with him and we would drive to the city that my school was in. And he would quiz me on music. And that was just his thing. And so anyway, this particular song, even though it starts out saying like, let me tell you about the girl I love, like if you listen to the lyrics, the girl he loves isn't all that great. Right. Um, and so like you were gonna get rid of this girl you love, and like, oh, I mean, it doesn't have to be a girl for everybody. It's just somebody, for Scorpio, it's just you're like, I need to get rid of this person. And then boom, suddenly that idea, like if that was part of the compromise, like, well, that's off the table. That's no longer part of the compromise anymore. Why? What happened? I have to tell you, looking at this board, it's not great. You've got the army tank in the upright, and that's sitting right in your blind spot. This is literally on the cusp of Scorpio, or on the cusp of the first house. If I was reading an astrology chart, I would call this a conjunction to the ascendant, right? Anything that conjoins the ascendant or sits in the first house is going to be very important for the native, the person that you're reading the chart for. So having this army tank locked and loaded at the ready, sitting directly in your blind spot. I don't know what's going on. Like, are you at war with somebody? Interesting. Like, I feel like somebody's coming in for you, at least right there. At least, at the very least, you do have the palm fronds in the very center, and you've got the fish here. And interestingly, the fish is coming out. Like if you are Scorpio rising, basically, or Scorpio sun or moon, but Scorpio rising, like let's say this is a chart where you're looking at either a Scorpio rising or a Scorpio sun, okay? Basically, that means that you have a Pisces fifth house, and now you've got the fish coming into the Pisces fish house, right? Or fish house, fifth house. I didn't mean to say fish house, although I hate to say it, but there's this term called the fish wife. And we started out the reading talking about, let me tell you about the girl I love. And a fish wife is like not a positive term at all. And this is the house of like romance, right? It is not the house of spouses, thank God. But it is the house of like, if you're going to go out and go out on a date or something, or flirt and all that kind of stuff, like this is the house that's going to, you're going to find it in a transit chart. You're going to find the energy there. So having some fish there, fish represents like abundance. It's also very emotional. It can represent faith, right? It could be that maybe your person is very religious, and that's the reason that this is off the table, which is interesting. I don't know. That would be like in a marriage, but there's nothing in the seventh house until you get here. I don't know. Very interesting. This one I think I forgot to put away from the last reading, so we're going to toss that back. We do have, there's no communication because the turquoise is in the reverse, straddling both the seventh and eighth houses. And you've got palm fronds here as well. And you've got the skull in the reverse also. And this is the eighth house, which is the house that Scorpio owns anyway. Like in any chart, whether it's your personal natal chart or a blank chart, the eighth house is always Scorpio's house. Even though in a Scorpio rising chart, the eighth house is ruled by Gemini, it's more like Scorpio owns it and Gemini is renting it. And then Gemini is like subleasing it to any planets that are placed within that house, right? That's kind of how the energy works in astrology, in a chart, when you're reading a chart. So Scorpio ruling this house, this is the house of death. and scorpionic energy, and Scorpio hates fake. And when you turn this particular skull upside down, it kind of looks like a mask, doesn't it? It kind of looks, I mean, but when in the upright, now you know that it's a death or an ending. So number one, I feel like there's like some sort of secrecy, which is also scorpionic energy, that's happening here. And it's between the 8th and 9th houses. So it can be attached to like sex. And by the way, we have the song Discovery by Kaylee Morgu. I can never pronounce her name. It's literally spelled like morgue, but I don't want to say Kaylee Morgue. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so also this says there's no ending, which kind of comes back to the axe jumping off the table. Like, if there was talk of a separation, well, that discussion's off the table now. Like, there's not going to be any ending to this situation ever. And so now one person is going to have to like be secret about how they feel, really, because there's no communication, and it's falling on top of the palm fronds. So whoever's watching this is the person that needs to reach out to someone else, because the palm fronds is coming up twice. They need to be the one to broach the subject, and they haven't. And I know I'm jumping all over this whole thing because it's just how it's coming out to me. So that's how we're going to do it. We have in the first house, we've got the question mark upside down. So I actually kind of feel like you're not seeing the possibilities. And what's weird is we have the dog and the car. So we've got the dog in the first house. The dog typically represents like loyalty, friendship, companionship, like reliability. Like your dog is always there, right? Like your dog is your best friend. Like, so this can be best friend energy. Maybe you're not seeing the possibilities. Maybe you have a friend that you're not seeing as an actual friend, but then you've got this car that's literally upside down, and that's falling, kind of straddling both houses. So maybe there's an issue, especially if you're breaking up with somebody or want to break up with somebody and they're like, fuck you, you're never leaving. It's till death do us part. And like, I wasn't joking about that shit. Like, it's till death do us part, right? I don't know. I'm just saying, but like maybe you end up with no vehicle, no way to escape or something. But this is falling in the house of money, right? And then you've got the footprints over here. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, that's just, so you can't make this shit up. You saw me. I pulled random fucking charms out of this charm bucket. You cannot make this shit up. The car is literally tipped over. Like, and especially with this cannon over here, like, dude, is your person like the Hulk? Are they gonna like get so angry and adrenaline that they're gonna flip the car over and like you're gonna be walking? I feel like that's what it's saying. Like, you're gonna be walking. Oh my God. And because you don't, like, your car is broken. I don't mean to laugh. I'm so sorry. If your car really is broken down, I apologize. If your car truly does break down and you end up walking, I apologize. But come on, you can't fucking make this shit up. How funny is that? You have to laugh at the humor. Okay. We do have the bundle of grapes, and my dominoes are falling apart. It's literally the trashed piece of my domino. We're going to ignore that. I don't know how to incorporate that into the reading. I could try, but I can't. So anyway, there's some sort of abundance coming in from family within a month, like maybe help or support, especially if you're at war with your person who's like, bitch, I meant till death do us part. Dude, I don't mean to be, but that could actually be kind of scary because of that, actually. Like, if your person's cray cray, and I don't even know why I just said cray cray, like that's something that dude, is your person immature? Because that's like something, I think that's like a term. Cray cray is like a term from, I don't know, a decade or two ago or something. Anyway, like a throwback. Is your person immature? Is your person, narcissistic and maybe a little bit dangerous? because that's also, we have to get back to Scorpio and 8th house energy. And this is your energy, right? Like, and if you're a Scorpio in any of those aspects, you already know this about yourself. So it's not like I'm, you know, telling you anything new. That like Scorpio is literally the one sign. Well, actually, no, Capricorn is another one that I can be very blunt with whenever I'm given a reading to, because I just know they literally can take it, because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Aquarius can take it a little bit too, because they're ruled by Saturn, but Aquarius is more, let's all get along, come on, you know, love your brother now. And so like they don't get as deep and dark as Capricorn and Scorpio do, basically. So Scorpio gets very dark. Scorpio can get very obsessive. Scorpio can get very suspicious. Scorpio can get very controlling. And so if your person exhibits any of these energies or behaviors, and I say that because of this here, like maybe they're being very secretive about something. I don't know. It just, the way everything is. And hold on, we have Last Supper by Upsall playing in the background. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, okay. So we're going to move on to the dolphin in your 10th house. And so there's joy coming in around, you know, centered around joy and happiness, basically like all good energy centered around like your career, your integrity, your reputation, that kind of stuff. And so in the 11th house, we have the candelabra. Oh, and another dolphin. So maybe your friends are going to like help to shed light. Like maybe your friends are going to have your back, or maybe your friends are going to help get you out there to get you happy. I don't know, like maybe all of this energy is so dark that like your friends come in to kind of pick you up a little bit, bring clarity, give you advice because of the candelabra. And did I miss anything? Oh, we do have the pentacle and another piece of domino, which is a piece. Oh my God, I have to go through and clean out my charm bucket. But you have, you're protected basically. This is coming out right here. It was straddling the 6th and 7th houses. So the 6th house is the house that is like your work, right? If you have a job, that is the job that you have to get by, right? It's not your dream job. Your dream job is going to be up here in the 10th house, like a career. But this house is going to be the house that is just a job that you don't like. Or if it's not a job that you don't like, or that's just okay, this is going to be like health, charity, or how you can be of service to others, or how you heal others. A lot of times those who are doctors, though, will have placements here. So don't take everything that I say as, it's only that in terms of, when I talk about the houses and what they represent, because, this is the house of the healer. And you do have the sun and the star, and you do have this star here straddling both houses. So maybe you are a healer in some way, right? The sun, this particular sun is the one that I call the happy sun, because he has a face. Actually, you can see his face, and he's like blowing, you see him blowing air out of his mouth, right? So he's clearing the clouds away. So he's the happy sun. And the star is about like healing, but it's also wishes, right? Or recognition, you're a star, right? But the star in the tarot is a card of healing as well. And so being in the house of health, this talks about healing. So it's saying you're protected, probably, I would say probably like if you're worrying about, how you make money, whether or not it's like a contract or something that you have, this some job, like if it, it could be that maybe you do get a job that will help you to pay the bills or something, because we do have this car over here in the upside down with the feet where you might be walking for a while, but I think like the job, maybe that's what protects you or something. Or like this is actually, if you do get this job, if the job comes in, I feel like this is spirit, saying, I got you, you're protected, don't worry, you'll find something. Okay. Interesting. We have the song Blow by Ashniko as I'm talking about that with stars and everything. And this particular song talks about, I'm a blow up on him, blow a kiss to your girl, I'm a blow up on him. Anyway, so yeah, basically, like, especially if somebody is, if somebody is trying to stop you, like if you are unhappy in a situation and your person's like, I'm not, there's no way, but you're insistent for whatever reason, you're protected basically, and you don't have to worry about it. Like maybe they're thinking that they've got one over on you because, whatever, people get like that in relationships all the time. So you just never know. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Sagittarius. All right, so Sagittarius, I'm not going to keep it, but you have the $100 that just tried to jump out as I'm trying to just nick the runes right now. So there could be money coming in to you, but I don't know. We'll see what comes out in the actual readings. All right, so we do have some money here. This one actually came out like that. If you probably saw, it came out on its side. So this one is kind of neutral. We do have the 20, or excuse me, yeah, that's the $20 bill that's in the upright. This is in the House of Friends. We've got all right. So with your friends, okay, so friends to romance, and I'm going to get to the general portion in just a second, but the only reason I'm looking at the money is because it's so much of it came out after that one dropped out, basically. So I'm looking at the money first. Right. And so as we're looking at the money, you have the highest denomination sitting between the 5th and 11th houses on this chart. So the 5th house is like your romance or your romantic partners or your kids, right? How you have fun, what you do to have fun, or when you're being creative. But then the 11th house is like your community, right? And as you can see, you've got that $100 bill that tried to jump out. Here it is in the reverse, and it's sitting in the 11th house. So maybe there's like expenses, like it's just too expensive, basically, is kind of what I'm saying, like in terms of going out to have fun, right? Like maybe you want to stay in more. Like I kind of feel like that's the advice, right? Oh, it's exactly 123 as I look to see which card or which song this is. And this song is Birds by Imagine Dragons playing in the background. Okay. So I feel like this is saying like, oh, interesting. I just noticed something. You have the rune of protection here along with the open heart key. Oh, I apologize for that. Okay, so I feel like this is saying Like you may have friends who are coming to you for advice or coming to you for help or something. And I feel like this is saying like where you have to protect your own interests, and you basically have to say to them, look, I can't afford it. I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to go out with you. I can't afford, XYZ. I can't afford to help you with XYZ. We can't afford to go to lunch. If you want to talk and have girl talk, come to my house, that kind of thing, right? Like we can't always go out and get drinks or coffee to have girl talk. Or if it's girl talk, I don't know why I'm even saying it that way, but just that, take it however it resonates. You do have the star. In the outer ring here. And so that's within a couple of weeks. I would say that maybe you do get your wish, right? Something that you're wishing for is going to come in within a couple of weeks. And the only reason that I say that is because you have the Star of David here and the footprints here. And and actually you've got the footprints there as well. You've got 2 footprints and 2 open heart keys, by the way. This is all about faith. The footprints are Christian faith. The Star of David is a Jewish faith. And then the open heart key is like, for me, I would see it as sort of like a spiritual faith or faith in like God or the angels as a whole, whether you're kind of non-denominational, basically. And then we have a bird there as well. I just wanted to move that 10 for a second to see. Let me take another quick look. So this feels like something that you're wishing and hoping for. And then look, you've got the bow over here. So there's another gift as well in the outer ring, and this one's closer to a month. So something that you're wishing and hoping for, it's saying have faith. It is coming in, within a couple of weeks to a month. There is also like maybe your reputation is transforming with the cherries here, but cherries are also about abundance. And you do have the lantern here. And so lanterns are about like following your higher truth or, your subconscious, lighting the way. And so there could be like transformation attached to that with the cherries. Let's see. Okay, so then we also have the money rune in the reverse, and that was coming out in this same house with the $100 bill in the reverse. So whatever if this is like going out with your friends, you need to stop. If this is your friends asking for help or asking for money, you need to tell them no. You're also leaving the circus behind here because this is all sitting within it's in one line. Oh, interesting. I really want to be like, people I don't like. Upsall is playing in the background as I talk about, your friends and such. Okay. So, very interesting. You're leaving the circus behind with this particular charm in the very center of your reading. Because it's reversed. This would be, just entering the circus, and that's actually in the very center, general portion of your reading. So this is all attached to your friends, your community. Okay, for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, have faith. There is support coming in probably in a couple of months for you specifically. If it's not support, this is an actual like relationship, but because this is the number 2 domino, sorry, my dominoes are falling apart, which is making it harder for me to show you. It's the number 2 domino, but it's 2 and 0. So it's not like it's an equal distribution of energy, if you know what I mean, right? And so that was like in a couple of months area over here, but it is support nonetheless. This could be spiritual support is what I'm getting at when I say it's not an equal distribution of energy. Like if it was the one, like the number 2 domino that was the 1-1 or the double 1, I would say that's a person coming in to support you. But this is on one side, so it could be like spiritual support, like you might be feeling more spiritually supported within a couple of months. And again, that's confirmed because of all this faith here, like you might actually get some sort of proof of something tangible, right? I don't know. It's just how it's coming out. All right, so now let's get to the rest of the houses, since we already looked at the main general portion of your reading. So in the first house, you've got the horse, which is perfect for Sagittarius energy, because literally Sagittarius is the horse. He's the centaur, he's Chiron, right? The wounded warrior, who's half horse and half man, and horses represent freedom. And so, this is all about your personal freedom in this situation. That's like a confirmation there. So in the second house, you have this $10 bill that's actually straddling both the second and third houses. And then you've got this bird. So it's all about communication, communicating your values, or having a talk with someone about your money. Because, look, I can't afford this anymore. Hold on. I don't know why it won't focus. It's starting to annoy me though. Like, come on. And that could be a message in and of itself, because birds are messages. Okay, there we go. So it could take a while for you to understand whatever this message is that comes in. Or maybe it could take a while for others to understand what it is that you're trying to say. But, because the $10 bill is in the reverse, there's something about a loss here. Or, basically there's more money going out on this particular reading than there is coming in, from what's being shown. But this is centered around communication for both houses, because it's in the third house and you have this bird in the second house. So, it could be communication about a job, but I don't know. This is how you feel with the moon here. It's solutions. You're looking for solutions because of the open heart key. But I think because of where this was, like maybe there are solutions coming in, or maybe like if this has to do with maybe you're having to cut back because of a job situation, then basically maybe you'll get the job or something, but you'll be making less than what you thought you would be making. That could be the news that's coming in here. And your understanding of why may not be so clear. Like, you may not understand why so clearly at first. It may take a little while, but then and you might be a little bit upset about that, but have faith is what it's saying. So with the fourth house, this is where you have the $5 bill in the upright, and that's sitting on top of the butterfly. So that's actually really good. Butterflies are all about transformation and change, and fives are about transformation and change. So this talks about abundant changes, good, positive changes, because this was in the upright. So this is abundance coming in because of the changes. So we already spoke about how you need to protect your money and your own self-interest over here. When you get to your sixth house, you have the love charm. And then you've got two dominoes, one that fell on its side, so it's going to be read as neutral. And the other one, which is the number 11 domino, that's actually straddling both the sixth and seventh houses. Okay, so we're going to look at the neutral one first. All right, so that's the number 3. Threes are all about work and collaboration and cooperation. And please ignore my ugly nails. I need to fix them. Okay. But yeah, so this is saying, like, I think you're going to love whatever this job is. Like, you're going to love your work is kind of what that's saying to me. It could also be that you might find love at work, because of this 11 straddling both houses. And this is a feather here as well. And then you've got this faith kind of here. So, have faith. You might find love at whatever this new job is, especially if the new job comes in here. But I think you might also love your work, to be honest. I'm going to actually skip to the 8th house, because I feel like I already kind of talked about the 7th house here, because that's literally how this feels to me. So we have Virgo straddling the 7th and 8th houses, and then we have the frog upside down. this is like healing energy. So the eighth house seems to be coming out a lot. And the reason for that is because we have the eclipses in both Taurus and Scorpio this year. We also have the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio this year. Actually, for a little more than a year to go, that the nodes will be in the money houses or the on the Taurus and Scorpio axis, as well as the that's the reason that we're having the eclipses in those signs. But anyway, so, having the moon straddling the eighth and ninth houses in your chart. So the eighth house is Scorpio's house, naturally, because Scorpio always rules the eighth house in any chart. The ninth house is the house that you rule, but also the ninth house is the house of your subconscious, right? And the moon, I feel like this is a healing over your subconscious, over what it is that you really want, especially when it comes to like sexual issues, because this is the house of sex. And we were talking about like a possible relationship over here. This is also the house of other people's money. So if you're talking about where you have to save your money, right? So, if it's with other people's money or with sex, either way, the frog coming in the reverse is saying you're no longer having to hop from place to place to place, right? So, there's a permanence to it. But again, if the frog is on his back and he's no longer hopping, it's because he's dead. And this is the house of death. And so I feel like this can be a metaphor that plays out in two ways. It's like the death of hopping from place to place in terms of employment or sexual partners. But it's also the death of all of the energy that you have to heal, that's coming with the eclipses that are in both Scorpio and Taurus. Whew, that was like a mouthful to get that out. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the ninth house, because again, this is talking about have faith, right? You're never alone, but you really do have to continue. Like, I feel like it's saying continue with the shadow work, only because like, hello, all this other stuff here. 10th house, we already kind of spoke about with the lanterns and the transformation and the cherries. And I think that's it. Okay. Man, I thought I had more to go. All right. So I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around, or maybe another reading for you here on the channel that does. And let's go ahead and move on to Capricorn. And by the way, we have the song Nice to Know You by Incubus playing in the background for Sagittarius. Actually, well, yeah, it's for Sagittarius really, because it has been playing for a minute. So it's more Sagittarius than Capricorn. Although if you're a Capricorn and that resonates for you in any way, just me calling it out, then that means it is a special message for you. Let me give these a good mix. This is going to be a very long video, but at least we're getting to the end of it so that I can go in and edit the parts out that are the interruptions. And put a good note before we pull the camera. There's a lot there. And two of them fell off onto the floor, it's not good. I'm so sorry. That's actually not good in a reading. Give me a second. I need to find them. Oh boy. Okay. One of them I can't find at all, so that's okay. I'm going to let it go because I don't want to be here forever. And, I'll find it after the whole reading's over. But at least for now, that's not like you have anything really bad. And also, I hope I hope the mic was picking up what I was saying properly, because I just realized that my microphone's all jacked up. So the one that jumped off the table and onto the floor is this bow, which I typically read as a gift. And the fact that it kind of, fell off the table, basically tells me that I think there's like to be honest with you, it's not like you're losing a gift, as in a gift or skill that you possess. I feel like there was some gift or help or something that somebody was going to give you. I have to be honest that it's like it drops away or something happens to it. I don't know. And I don't even know how or why that plays in, but we're going to put that off to the side and just kind of leave it there. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the reading. I could tell when I was pulling them, I was like, man, this feels like too many. And I wanted to try and drop a few out, but it just didn't do it. And so I know not to pull too many because they will fall on the floor and I don't like it when that happens. So I typically try not to do it, but for some reason this time I could feel it and they just didn't fall out. I was trying to move my fingers a little bit and they just wouldn't fall out. And so, we have to take it the way that it's falling. Now, I don't think this is really bad. Now, when I see these bows in a reading and I see them as gifts, right? I always see them as small gifts or surprises. So I don't think this is anything really bad. Now, you could be like losing a small ability, I don't know, or a small skill or a small gift, but I didn't really feel it that way when I first saw this. I just kind of felt like maybe there was something that someone was going to do as a nice gift or surprise that for some reason or another, something happens that they change their mind. We don't have a whole lot that's sitting in the actual center except the happy sun. This is actually the sun that, it has a face on it. Let me show you if it'll focus. There we go. Okay. It's upside down right now, but the face, he's like blowing, he's blowing wind, which is clearing the clouds away. Focus, damn it. Oh my God, that's going to drive me nutty. Oh my God. Whatever. So we have the song Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes playing in the background. Sometimes my Pandora just like I'm surprised by the songs that come on my Pandora. Sometimes I put it on shuffle and so it goes through a whole weird like list. But anyway, so in the very center there's like good news coming in or clarity coming in basically. And so, clearing away of the clouds with this particular sun. So it's the happy sun. And look we have the scales of justice came out twice, which is also very good. And in fact, to be honest with you, hold up. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people or 4 possible people in your reading, 2 of which are shown in the reverse over here in the house that deals with like your partners. This can be the people that you contract with, like in a job, or the people like your husband, but anybody that you've made promises to. But it's just weird to me that you've got 2 scales of justice, and then you've got 2 people in the reverse. In the house of others, the people in your life. So there's 2 situations. One that you already intuitively know is going to be just and work in your favor, probably financially because of this cat here. You could be dealing with a Libra, but I'm actually going to read this as the scale of justice because it came out twice. So it's some financial settlement or something that happens for Capricorn, something where money is either exchanged or balanced. Look at love and be loved, but then something that you don't see is going to be also, I think, and you know what's strange about this? Let's be really honest. Here's what's strange about this. So you have, this is this is the 12th house. Now, for Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, but typically in a chart, I hate saying moon when I say that because you don't know where your moon is going to be in this chart. But if you have Capricorn rising, Capricorn is going to be your first house. If you don't know your rising sign and you're reading a sun sign chart, you're going to put the sun in the first house. And so this would be Capricorn as well, which would put Sagittarius in your 12th house. But interestingly, the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, okay? And then if you come over here to the 7th house with the two people that are possibly leaving your life because these two are upside down, look at these two signs. You have Pisces and Sagittarius. Very interesting, right? This is something to do with some sort of unjust something or other, okay? It is, probably, it could be a legal issue. It doesn't have to be, but it is probably something that's going to go in your favor, right? There's no love in this situation because the love and be loved charm and the made with love charm are both upside down on this chart. They came out like that. Okay. You intuitively already know that this is one of these is going to go in your favor. And this one, I would say almost definitely. Also, something very interesting that I just realized, oh my God, you can't make this shit up. This is the charm for Libra. This is Libra's house. So do you see how all of this is playing in together? Okay. Now let's look at the 9th house because we want to now see, Sagittarius, the house that Sagittarius owns anyway, which is right here. So that's the house of Virgo. We do have the money, or excuse me, the protection rune. I think that's the protection rune. Hold on, let me get it to focus. It is. It's the protection rune. But this is the one that says, it's like you have to defend yourself, right? So you have to defend what you know to be right and true for yourself in your world. You do have what I call the butterfly amethyst, and that's because this particular piece of amethyst where that red spot is, it looks like a butterfly to me, if I can get it to focus. Anyway, it kind of looks like a butterfly to me. And so I call this my butterfly amethyst. So this is all about spiritual transformation. So having it fall in the 9th house anyway, which is the house of spirituality and your subconscious, your higher self, following what you know to be to your best interest, following your higher values. There's abundance in that. You need to protect those things, what you know to be good for you, to be right for you. You do have in the outer ring. So within at least a month to 2 months, you're going to be your own worst enemy. Like it's going to be very hard for you to stick to what you know to be right, but you need to, because a couple of months further out, you've got this little star. So probably within 6 months, that's when this wish comes in. We do have the song, and it's been playing for a while, but I've been trying to get out what I need to say. So this is the song Bones by Imagine Dragons. So this could have something to do with like, not only like your spirituality, maybe believing in magic, because that's what they're talking about. He's talking about his soul. He's got magic in his bones, blah, blah, blah. And so it's very appropriate that came out for this particular house. But then again, take that song however it resonates. It could be just the actual artist, or it could be the name of the title of the song. So let's move on to I think we're going to come over here where this money is, only because we saw a little bit going on with the money here. And this is the house of other people's money. And we did see that there's this issue over here where maybe you might get a settlement, or there's like intuitively, you already kind of know that there's some justice coming in a situation that has to do with money for you. And this is the $5 and the $10 bill. So if this money is coming in, it's probably not going to be a very large amount, but it's still not, it's not the $1 bill, right? We do have Let's look in this area here. Well, let's look in your house of communication. So you do have the Rado rune that came out like this in the house of communication, meaning right now there's no communication happening, but I think it is possible because this was in the upright. If this was like this, I would say no, there's no movement and there's not going to be movement, but it came out in the upright. So it is communication or compromise is possible. You're just, as of right now, it's not happening, possibly because people are too emotional. You do have in the fourth house, wishes do come true. So take that however it resonates. That's around home, family, security. This can be your actual house, right? Or, you know, where you live, or it can be like security in terms of, do you feel secure in yourself and in the choices that you make? So in the fifth house, when it talks about like your children, your fun, like how do you spend your time when you're having fun? Romance, creative pursuits. You've got what I call the open heart cross, right? This is the cross of faith where it looks like there's rays of sunshine coming from the center of it, right? So I always see it as like your heart is just bursting with happiness, right? Because your faith has been restored. There's so much hope happening, right? So that did come out here in the fifth house with the umbrella that's kind of straddling both the fifth and sixth houses. So this is also, the sixth house is like your job, but it's also the house of healing. So the umbrella is about protection. There is some question surrounding like, I think your creative pursuits, there's some sort of question surrounding creative pursuits, or maybe even something with your children. But like the umbrella protects you from the rain, right? So, and rain being water would represent like emotions. So like there's hope coming through with the cross. I really strongly feel, oh, and look, you've got the number 8 domino, which is the 5 and the 3, but it was upside down. So like you're not feeling very abundant right now, or there's no abundance. You're not feeling like you're not seeing the abundance right now, but I feel like it's saying have faith with these right here. Like you're protected. It's okay. Don't worry. Like you can create this abundance because of this peacock, or it's like peacock, or people typically see it as like the magician's stone, right? And the number 8 is about abundance. The number 3 is about creating. Number 5 is about change. And so this is, you know, that's those numbers there. So the number 8, the number 35, the number 53, and the number 5 or 3 is going to be important when it comes to like creative and happy, joyful pursuits. Like you'll find joy again, is what that's saying. So for the house of like healing or work, right? There's a message of like, if you want things to change, you have to be the one to communicate, because where this is falling on top of that Mercury symbol there, like you have to be the one to make the changes or communicate or reach out because of the palm fronds as well. Maybe to get things on the right path because of this number 7 domino, which is the 6 and the 1. We have, so for the 10th house, we do have this $10 bill in the reverse with the feather and the baby carriage in the reverse. So these two right here, like I feel like when it comes to like your reputation, because it's straddling both houses, it has to do with like community and reputation. So the feather is like messages anyway, but then there's loss here. There's no fertility here. Like the baby carriage, if it's upside down, the baby's going to fall out and get hurt. You know, the money is upside down. That means there's expense. There's an expense. So maybe this is saying, there's something that might, like, you're worried that something might be at the expense, like your reputation might harm your kids in some way. I don't know, however, take that however it resonates. When it comes to this particular house, you've got the moon in the reverse, and then we have the number 9 domino, which is a 6 and a 3. So, you know, take those numbers as they resonate. But having this particular moon in the reverse, this is giving me like 9 of Swords vibes. You know, because this particular moon, he's like the good night moon. And so if he's upside down, which he was like that means obviously he's not able to sleep because he's not comfortable. There's something bothering him. And so the number 9, I don't know, it's just giving me 9 of Swords vibes. Like you're worried about your reputation, hitting your kids in some kind of way or harming your kids in some kind of way. Something. And then I don't know if I pointed out, I think I do know that I pointed out already Pisces and Sagittarius in terms of this particular house, but I'm not sure if I said that I think these are the people that might be leaving your life, or maybe these two situations that are situations where something is unjust they are attached to Pisces and Sagittarius. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. And let's go ahead and move on to Aquarius. Okay, so we have the Gemini charm that fell out while I was just trying to mix things up. So Gemini may be important for Aquarius to fit. All right, I'll probably go right there. All right, so we have some turquoise that came way out in the outer ring. So if Aquarius is waiting on communication from someone, it is possible, but probably it'll take about a year, whatever this communication is, at least a year. I think, though, I have to be honest, you know, we have something, two things that to me are pretty important, right? Because we're talking about communication. So we have the owl who actually landed face up. He landed, standing upright, not on his side. If he was on his side, you would have seen his face like that, but he was standing upright. And this particular owl, because of what he is made of, I see him as the spiritually inclined owl that has to do with like wisdom, what you get from source, what you get from your intuition, psychic visions and psychic knowledge. And that came out in the 12th house for you, which is all about intuition, your hopes, your dreams, your nightmares, that kind of thing. But then you have also the wolf howling in the house of other people. You have the letter in your 2nd house of money, but the letter is in the reverse. So there's no communication happening in terms of money. But then we started off with this one falling on the outer ring, right? And so that's important. I don't know if this particular rune came out in your reading or the previous reading, but I'm going to read it for yours. All right, so let's get into this, right? So automatically, we already know that in some way, information, communication is going to be very important. And we have the song Fade. Oh God, why did I open it all the way? We have the song Fade to Black by Metallica playing in the background. So here's the thing. When I'm looking at all of this communication and in particular you've got money, you've got the $100 bill here in the 3rd house, right? And it's in the upright. But when you come over here to the 2nd house and the letter is upside down, that means there's no communication. but there's abundance attached to communication because most of this money was sitting in the third house. So what's going on here? Let's look further, right? I can already kind of tell you, but I want to walk you through it because I want you to see that I'm not just saying stuff off the top of my head. I'm literally looking at where these terms are. We already spoke about how this is your intuition, right? The 12th house is the house of like what's hidden from you, but it's also the house of fears. So there's like intuitively, you know that a lot of this energy here is attached to fear. Okay. Especially because of these here, we've got this moon as well sitting between the third and fourth houses, but the moon is upside down, as you can see. So the moon is upside down. This is what it looks like if it was in the upright. This is a crescent moon, right? And so, you know, I feel like you're really in your feelings about this, whatever this is. And you know, you have this $100 bill here, okay, which is in the third house, but it's also straddling the second house. So the third house is the house of communication. The second house is the house of money, your money, the money, what you own that has value, but also your values, your higher values, right? Your spiritual value, your you know, the values, your traditions and values. I don't know why I'm struggling to get that out. If you come over here to the 7th and 8th houses, but mainly the 8th house, which is the house that governs other people's money, that's in the reverse. There's losses here. You've got the wolf who's howling. Okay, so there's more communication happening, but this is in the house of others. So it's like there's losses when it comes to, or maybe you're not, maybe you're not bringing in what you want in terms of money, but it's attached to your communication, the way that you communicate in some way. Look at, you've got I love you sitting between the 5th and 6th houses, but that was also upside down. You've got the axe out here. This is coming into the realm of your 11th house, which is like your friends and community. So like within a month, there may be somebody that you need to cut out of your life, and it may be abrupt. You do have the camel and the green man in your first house. So for you in particular, you're like the fertility, right? Because the green man is all about fertility. So like you can bring this fertility, this abundance back in by being prepared now, or preparing, saving maybe, because, you know, camels, they can go a long time without water because they store it, they carry it with them on their back, right? So, you know, you're going to have to become very resourceful in order to regain this abundance and this fertility, and transform this situation where there's like maybe there's no money coming in, or there's no real communication happening between you and the people that you're trying to collect the money from. And you need to kind of speak up or make yourself more clear. And then we come over here, we have Aries falling in your 6th house. So you could be dealing with an Aries, but Aries energy is like the energy of a new start, or starting something new, right? It's like the energy of a newborn. It's something brand new. So maybe when it comes to the work you do and the time that you spend each day, you need to try doing something brand new. I don't know. Okay, so you're going to know exactly how this like relates to, oh, we forgot about the sun. We've got the sun coming in over here. So this is your 9th to 10th house. Okay. 9th house is your subconscious, your higher self, what you know to be the things that you need. And then you've got the 10th house, which is like your career, your reputation, your work ethic. So the sun, this is the happy sun, because he has a face. And if I can get him to focus, hold on. Focus. Oh, come on, focus. There you go. And you can see on his face, he is blowing wind, which means he is blowing those clouds out of the way to bring clarity in. That's coming over your 9th and 10th houses. So maybe if this situation is attached to your career, what you're doing each day to make money, maybe you need to do something brand new, and it will involve you becoming vulnerable and having to communicate in a different way, in some way. And you're going to need to be prepared. You may have to cut someone out of your life by the end of the month. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There will be another reading for you here on this channel that does. Let's go ahead and move on to Pisces. All right. Felt like that one was the one, and then I dropped it. Crap. Hold on. No, it doesn't feel right. Give me a second. It's just mix it up again. I should have just taken it. I don't know why I hesitated. Is there something that, did you have an opportunity for something, Pisces, and you hesitated? And now you're like, what the hell? Oh, and then look, the $5 bill just jumped out too while I was mixing it. And I am going to keep that one. That is straddling the 3rd and 4th houses. But that I'm keeping it because I was planning on getting some change right now. All right. Okay. So we're actually going to start with that because it came out first, and then we'll go to the center, and then all of this right here. So this coming out around 3rd and 4th houses has to do with like miscommunication with the family and around a family situation. And these miscommunications are, so I would say actually, because we have 2 5s here, these miscommunications cause changes that were not small, because this is not a $1 bill, but they're not so large that they're devastating. Although I do kind of hesitate to say that because, change, you just never know exactly how change is going to affect anyone. I'm just going to say that. Now, I do think some of that, like the losses, I do think there were losses attached to this. And again, you don't know how loss will affect anyone. So when you say, you may have lost some things, or these communications may have caused some issues that were, that were hard, but not completely devastating. We don't exactly know, because there is loss here. So don't misjudge either. But the reason that I'm bringing that up is because we also have some gains here, and those gains are sitting between the 1st and 2nd houses. So this tells me these are gains for you personally, Pisces, but these are gains that are centered around what you value, right? And so what you value has become important in this particular scenario, because we have these 2 $5 bills. One is a loss, one is a gain. So you cut even, or you've not cut even, you've come out even at the end. However, you've got this moon, and this happens to be what I call the good night moon, because it reminds me of that story, that children's story, because this particular moon is sleeping with a nightcap. Okay. So he was upside down, which tells me there's like sleepless nights, and that's sitting between the 2nd and 3rd houses, which tells me, even though you've broken even, right here, the losses and the gains cancel each other out. There are still sleepless nights over the way that you communicated your values, maybe. Here's the interesting thing. If we come to the center, we have the medicine dropper, and well, it's actually the medicine dropper with the medicine. Okay. So, and that's coming into this 3rd house, but also in the center. We've also got the wolf here in the center, and the wolf is howling. And we've got the open heart key, which is the charm that I see as like solutions and answers coming in. But then if you follow the line, this open heart key was connected to this particular spoon. The spoon is in the upright. The spoon talks about needing to heal or needing to take some medicine, which is interesting because you've got the medicine over here. This is the actual medicine and the medicine dropper. This is your dose of medicine here. But it's healing, it's good, it's positive. This spoon is in the upright. If the spoon was turned over, I would say it was a bitter pill to swallow, but it's not. This is actually positive medicine, something that's helpful, healing, attached to possibly a friend or someone who is very loyal and loving because of this dog. Dogs represent like your best friend, a very loyal friend. Now, we do have some kind of not so great energy here with the skull and the star, or I call this the sun star. These are both upside down, and they're in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 9th house. So the 9th house in any astrology chart is always ruled by Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a sign that's very adventurous, right? Very willing to go out and learn and educate themselves. They're willing to go to foreign countries, meaning they're willing to go where they are very uncomfortable in order to educate themselves. And guess what? That's also energy that Scorpio has, but in a different way. Scorpio does it by going within, doing that deep dive into their emotions. Sagittarius does it by going to school or going without, going traveling, going to those foreign lands and immersing themselves in the culture, right? So when you have all of this energy, particularly with all this medicine, then you've got this over here surrounding your values, how you communicate those values to others, how there may have been losses, and now there's sleepless nights attached to all of this. I feel like maybe you have a friend who's a very loyal friend who is willing to kind of call you out on your bullshit, right? And if you don't, this is basically saying go and get one of those friends. Like, they're really going to be helpful for you, because these two charms that are upside down tell me that you are not willing to look at some sort of ending or death or something. The sun is about clarity. The star is about hope and healing. And the skull is about death and endings. When you have either one of those things upside down, you don't have, those things are missing then, right? Like, or you're ignoring them. You're not utilizing the clarity that the sun brings in and the hope that the star brings, and sometimes the healing that a death brings, right? And so, you could be avoiding these things, is what I'm trying to say. And so in this 9th house, it tells me definitely that you're avoiding these things and they need to be looked at. And so you need this support system. The support system is going to be very, very positive for you. We're going to actually go to the rest of the chart now, but there are a couple other things that I'm noticing as I'm saying that I want to point out. And you know what? I forgot to read this one for Aquarius. We're going to leave that at the end. I may put a little note at the end. We do have this mountain here. Okay. So remember where I was saying in the very center of your reading, you've got this wolf and the wolf is howling. And so it's all about like, speaking up, obviously, if a wolf is howling, speaking up about answers, because the open heart key is about solutions and answers. So you're howling from the rooftops that you have the answer, you have the solution, you've got the remedy because of this medicine and the medicine dropper and the spoon here. You've got the remedy, you've got the treatment that's going to cure this problem, right? Is kind of what this is saying, but I feel like it beyond what it's saying is because of this mountain here, you have a huge mountain to climb, especially if you're seeking justice in some situation. You've got this castle in the outer ring, but the castle was upside down again. So when the castle's in the upright, it talks about like, security, but also like fantasizing, because it is a castle, right? Not everybody can live in a castle, but everybody can dream about their castle. Right. And so if it's in the reverse, like there's like no, like, actually, you know what? I got to be honest, because it's sitting next to this particular scales of justice, which is not the Libra charm. This is actually the scales of justice. I feel like, and especially with this mountain to climb here, I feel like this is saying you better don't lie. Like you better be 1000% honest. Right? Especially if you're trying to tell someone, I have the answer, I have the solution, I have the cure to this problem, whatever it is. And you're like speaking, you better be speaking 1000% truth, because this is coming out from your subconscious. Because if you don't speak 1000% truth, I feel like it could be a very negative thing, especially considering the rest of this energy where you've taken some losses by having to communicate your values in some way. We have the money rune in the house of work. And so, I feel like, there's like, you can you can, like, hard work is going to bring abundance for you, or material wealth. And we already know that this is going to be hard work, but you have to be very honest, and you have to have integrity. You've got to be upright. You've got to be fair. You've got to be just. You've got to be balanced at all times, especially if you want to heal this situation. We do have the star here. In the house of like other people's money, joint resources, inheritance, death, all of that kind of stuff. And so this particular star, I don't always read it this way, but this is a double star. So it's like a double, it's like a really strong kind of feeling for a wish when I see this particular star, because it's double. If it would ever, come on. Oh my God. That's so annoying. I'm going to feel like I need to do this forever until it focuses. There we go. See, it's a double star, a star within a star. So it's like a wish, right? It's like a double confirmation for a wish. Especially like every time I see it, that's how I feel. But like right now, actually, I kind of feel like there's a wish attached to like inheritance or something, right? Like something that has to do with joint resources, something that you do jointly, or maybe if there's a wish to reach out. Interesting. Okay. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I don't know how this is going to play out, but we have the song Control by Puddle of Mud. So interesting. This particular house is the 8th house, which is the house that Scorpio rules in any natal chart all the time. Anytime Scorpio rules this house, Scorpio is a sign that loves control. They love power. They can be, kind of obsessed. Sometimes they can be very jealous. They can be suspicious. It's one of the reasons that they dive deep, when it comes to shadow work. I think I explained a little bit of that energy here, when it comes to like death and things like that. But this house also rules sex. And when it comes to sex, and this song in particular, that's what this song is about. It could be that maybe I just have to read it. If you have a wish, like if you are a Pisces who happens to have a little bit of like you like things a certain way sexually, like, I don't know, there may be a wish within a wish that comes in here. I always say don't take the entire theme of the song into account in a reading, but you can't get past the fact that this particular song, like one of the things that he says in this song is, I can't control you. You're not the one for me, which is very interesting in terms of all of this. But they also talk about it's the lust factor in terms of the whole, BDSM kind of thing that they're talking about in the background. But anyway, so there's a wish within a wish here. I don't know, take that however it resonates. We do have here in the 10th house, we have Pisces energy coming into the 10th house. And then we have the house and we have the leaf. Okay. So the house was actually in the reverse. So this could be speaking of you specifically and your specific reputation. Having the house in reverse tells me that you don't have a very, like you have a, like your reputation around family or within your family may not be great or something. Like maybe you've had to turn over a new leaf, which is what I always see when I see the leaves. I also think of like fall and things changing, right? But right now, especially with this, it's like, you know, you have to change in some way within a month, or you're trying to change this perceived reputation of having an unhealthy family, an unhappy family, an unstable home life, or something like that, something centered around home, family, and security that is not stable. It's not secure, it's very emotional, because we do have this Pisces charm falling on top of the fire element in this particular house. So when you put emotion together with fire, it can be a little bit explosive. So if you are a Pisces who is known for being, you know, an explosive Sagittarius type of personality around the house. And, you know, Sagittarius always gets they get, when they're described, they're described as, those who have wanderlust, because it's all about travel when people talk about that. So Sagittarius is typically ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet that expands. It makes things bigger, right? So if you are a sign that is ruled by a planet that tends to make things bigger, and you put emotion into that, you may end up blowing things out of control, right? Literally. Blowing things, making a bigger deal out of something than what it truly is. I have a feeling that this may be your reputation. You may have a reputation in your family as being too sensitive, too reactive, because of this over here, too willing to kind of force your beliefs and your values on other people, which is the reason there have been these bosses that are keeping you up at night over here. Yeah. And then finally, we have the thorn in your house of community and others. These are the people that, you know, you socialize with, your friends, the people that live in your community, meaning on your street, in your neighborhood, in your city, or those people that you network with at work, right? Or online, people online. So when you have the thorn can actually be very like harsh energy. It's like a thorn in your side, right? There's difficulties attached to it and pain attached to it. But this came out in this position, which is in the reverse position. So that, you know, when it's in the reverse position, it's like, well, now you've gotten the tweezers and you've taken that thorn out, right? You've taken it out of the paw, or you're wherever the thorn is, the thorn in your side. You've healed that pain, but this also came out upside down. So you're either ignoring that, you haven't done that, maybe you haven't, maybe, you know, your friends can help you heal that pain, but you're not allowing it. You're not putting the work in, because Capricorn, you know, if this is a Pisces rising chart, that puts Capricorn in the 11th house. Capricorn is kind of restrictive, very strict, very limiting, very cold, kind of callous, kind of dark, a little bit melancholy. And so maybe your friends are seeing you this way, and they're saying like, dude, when are you going to heal that? And it's definitely possible, because when I flip it over, it's in the reverse, which means the healing over that pain. All right. So I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help get my channel out there, as I am new here, and I thank you for watching.